Hill Gardens, the Classic Legend Stakes, over 1,300 metres. It's worth $1 million in prize money, plus bonuses. The winner, if it comes out.
Gallant in defeat in the Everest, that has to be the form for this. I think he goes better here at Rose Hill. You know, obviously the negatives are a real dry track and 1,300 metres, but just with racing style, you know, he's got to not show much gate speed. He'll have to be patient, and I don't think...
By racing too. Classic Legend Stakes Press. This is named after the previous year's Everest winner, so it's the Classic Legend this year.
Because he still looks magnificent in the coat. He looks as though he's...
Gates are back, they're off. Eduardo flew out. Eduardo leads rather comfortably early from Big Parade and Dawn Passage. Masked Crusader away well. So Eduardo leads by 2 on Big Parade. Masked Crusader settled third. Standout rails through. Dawn Passage caught last of all. It's Eduardo in front by 3/4 to Big Parade. Dawn Passage goes to third. Standout fourth. And Masked Crusader closest he's been all spring. He's up in fifth and only 3 lengths off the lead. Then lost and running Sonore Fox. I Am Superman. Libertini. Kementari trekking. Then came at it from Guitra. And Imaging's last of all. Eduardo swings in front. Dawn Passage travels up well on the outside. Eduardo, it's his birthday today and he leads at the 300 by 2 lengths on Dawn Passage. Masked Crusader's going nowhere. Eduardo in front by 2, 3 lengths. Standout up the inside, lost and running the outside, and then Sonore Fox. But Eduardo clear from lost and running. What a way to celebrate the birthday. Eduardo, 8 years today, and he wins the Classic Legend Stakes. Beat Lost and Running and Standout third in front of Big Parade. Then came at it. I Am Superman late. Masked Crusader didn't pick up. Followed then by Kementari, Sonore Fox, Libertini. From Imaging, Trekking, Guitra. And Dawn Passage seemed to pull up pretty sharply past the post.
What a horse he is. What a race horse he is. I mean, the big surprise was Masked Crusader jumping probably too well. He had a lap full of horse. Nashua Willis having an incredible day, and he's got the big one in the Golden Eagle to come. Lizzie, he was absolutely high-balling. He was your pick from the yard. His prize money goes to over, or about $5.5 million around that. What a horse Lizzie is, and it was his birthday. He was born on this day 8 years ago.
Knew it was his...
So 3 years in a row, this race, the Winners' Stakes, it's named after the winner of the previous Everest. We've had Parata, we've had Guitra, and now we've had Eduardo. 3 very, very popular winners. So we talk as much about the Golden Eagle. What about this race and how this has cemented itself as well with a $1.4 million result for Connections and Eduardo?
And to think that we've kept these horses here to race for this, and look at the field that we got. And we know this little pop-up race has produced a little bit of form.
Aren't they good, these pop-up races, hey? How good are they going?
Yeah, and look at little Eddie go.
Oh, he is just a beauty. Look at him. He doesn't give them a chance because they know they can't take him on because he breaks their hearts. And he then gets complete control of the race like he did yesterday, and he can go whatever speed he wants to go, and he went whatever speed and they just cannot catch him. And everyone questions whether he can run 1,200 metres, but he scares everyone over 1,300 metres, doesn't he, from taking him on. So I thought he was excellent yesterday. Another good run by Lost and Running, which is important to see. He looks as though he's back on track. But it's all about the winner for me.
Who's the most popular for the big one? The $7.5 million Golden Eagle. Great shot from the air.
Determination to win, so I've gone with I Am Thunderstruck here over Private Eye. The way the track's sort of playing, plenty are coming from back in the field now, so I mean,
look at that winning strike rate, 8 wins, only 1 placing from 13 starts. And although the patterns are big white face when he emerges here halfway down the straight, he's an exciting Victorian. He burst onto the scene, winning 3 or 4 this preparation. Or he's
into 5, back to 550. Private Eye is also in single figures, 7, 8, back to 7. Terralgan on Sky Racing.
Touch on, I mean, when they envisaged this race, for the Victorian, given that recent form line and just putting wins together, I'm Thunderstruck looking to add another one to the list today at 3-9.
Count Rupi has come on really nicely. Of course, he comes out of the Silver Eagle along with Ellsberg, and both of these horses...
The 2021 Golden Eagle field is off, and a Tissue immediately flopped out the back, and Vangelic was first out. from Asar, and Apache Chase is on the scene. Forbidden Love goes forward out wide. Then Ellsberg, Count de Ruby pushing into a prime position early. They're followed then by Media Award, getting past Maximal, is in the first half of the field on the outside of I'm Thunderstruck. Then Love Tap, exit of all. Forbidden Love leads up the Golden Eagle field from the Queenslander Apache Chase. Asar's caught 3 deep in the third, followed by Evangelic, Count de Ruby. A Media Award is in 6th position, deeper out. Then came Ellsberg from I'm Thunderstruck. Maximal, Laws of Indices out very deep. Further back then to Love Tap as they approach the turn from Rev de Vol. Very deep out, Private Eyes, they straighten up now. And Forbidden Love and Apache Chase swing together. Clear from Evangelic, Count de Ruby into the clear, running on well. Then came Asar from Ellsberg, I'm Thunderstruck. Private Eyes coming right down the outside as Count de Ruby moved up to take the lead from Apache Chase. It's Count de Ruby getting a half length on Apache Chase. Then I'm Thunderstruck digging in now. Count de Ruby, I'm Thunderstruck went boom over the top. I'm Thunderstruck got up to win the Golden Eagle. Knocked off Count de Ruby, and I think Evangelic third in front of Apache Chase and Ellsberg, followed by Love Tap, Forbidden Love, then Maximal from a tissue, Laws of Indices, Private Eye. From further back, Rev de Vol, Asar, Amish Boy, Aegon, Exo Boom and Media Award.
So the credibility of this race, you think about it, a Group 1 winner Colding wins it, a Group 1 winner Colette wins it, a Group 1 winner I'm Thunderstruck wins it. Lizzie, he got the right run. It was a brilliant ride by Huey, and what a win.
Brilliant ride by Huey and a brilliant ride by picking every poster winner. That turn of foot over the last 50 metres was absolutely scintillating. I can't wait to actually see what he does next preparation. Mind you, what he's done this preparation is absolutely mind-blowing, Katie.
As you said, Lizzie, I thought Brock Ryan rode his horse tremendously, but I think that there's something about this horse that's really special, Bruce. I'm Thunderstruck. The way that he probably...
Eagle. The winners of the Golden Eagle have all been Group 1 winners before they took this race. This is how serious this race is.
And you go back through and look at the fields of the previous ones we've had and look at the horses and what's happened since. So we're talking a serious race here. It's worked, the 4-year-old race at this time of year. And this is a serious horse at the same time. I'm Thunderstruck. He's his first look at Sydney. Buey put him into a beautiful position. He went with the horse. I thought, what are you doing? Get into him. And he just knew that the horse was going to explode once he got him onto his right leg. And
Till the $7.5 million Golden Eagle was the feature, and the plan came together for I'm Thunderstruck. Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. I'm Thunderstruck backed up from the Toorak win to claim his long-range target. And the race the stable was initially planning on a 2-pronged assault with, of course, because they had I'm Thunderstruck and Ayrton originally pegged at this race, whose spring unfortunately ended prematurely due to injury. Can we mention Count de Ruby at this stage, Simon?
I've got to apologise to all the punters around Australia that were on Count de Ruby, because I did go the dreaded early crow at about the 150, and then I turned around to see I'm Thunderstruck just launching late. So apologies to anyone on this planet that...
Career start. Has put some pretty good performances together just from those 2 runs, and they've been. And I'm not sure this is the strongest edition of the Carbine Club, but irrespective of that, he's right
on top. I just love the way he strode into the yard. He had confidence. He was really bold, and I know.
Girl absolutely smashed. $2.45 into $2.15 since we last spoke. Punters hoping for another perler from J-Mac here, and I think by the looks of the market, they might just get it. Prix de Turn continues to drift out.
Paramount Plus Carbine Club Stakes. Locked away, set to gallop, and they're racing. Pretty good line too. Wilson's Prom towards the outside, beat them out with also Corkscrew. Briganton's not far away. Tester Rocker's closer. Patton on the fence, followed by Raway at turn. The end, Celtic Glory and Fangirl, the favourite, back with those. Past the 850, Wilson's Prom is the leader and sets a moderate tempo by about 3/4 of a length. To in second place, Corkscrew, and then came Patton, Tester Rock. Briganton out 3 3 wide in 5th from Raway Out as the field pack, and then from Pantherland, who's forced even wider. Next in the field, Pre to Turn, Daily Bugle. Fangirl's 3rd last, then Capital Legend and Celtic Glory at the end. Around the corner, 450 metres to go. It's Wilson's Prom just in front of Corkscrew. Tester Rock now ambles up 3 wide. Briganton 4 deep, given its head about 2 off the lead. Patton the fence, then Raway Art, and Fangirl now is unleashing down the outer at the 200. Wilson's Prom, Briganton grabbed by Fangirl. Fangirl up to Briganton, 100 metres to go. Daily Bugle late, but Fangirl's coming away. McDonald looks over the shoulder. She's home. Fangirl won the first easily from Briganton, Daily Bugle, Capital Legend. Then came Tester Rock and next Patton, followed by Wilson's Prom. Pre to Turn towards the back of the field then was from Pantherland, Celtic Glory, and towards the end, Raway Art. One more, Corkscrew was last to complete.
11-1, 2 and 9 in the Paramount Plus Carbine Club Stakes. Fangirl, the first filly in 15 years. The previous one, Promiscuous, well, she was just beaten by a superstar in Miss Finland in 1,000 guineas before winning this race. That's where Fangirl may have ended up this spring. It all came perhaps a little bit late for Chris Waller.
For the stable off a second in that race, Fangirl won the Reginald Allen, and Chris Waller set the bar higher, targeting the Carbine, and she treated her opposition with absolute contempt, running, Hutch, according to my figures, the 3rd fastest last 200 of the day.
Yeah, I think if you're riding one down, potentially one horse from the whole meeting to follow in the next 12 months.
3-year-old filly series in Sydney in the early part of 2022. She's going to be the #1 seed for mine.
It might be her.
She's a ripper, isn't she? Absolute cracker.
I don't know if she's beaten a great deal, but it was...
Up 3 wide, Briganton 4 deep, given its head about 2 off the lead. Patton the fence, then Raway Art, and Fangirl now is unleashing down the outer at the 200. Wilson's Prom, Briganton grabbed by Fangirl. Fangirl up to Briganton, 100 metres to go. Daily Bugle late, but Fangirl's coming away. McDonald looks over the shoulder. She's home. Fangirl won the first easily from Briganton, Daily Bugle.
She's November foal 3 tomorrow.
Yep, she's a homebred. I was with John and Franningham yesterday and watching the race with me.
So just to put a full stop on the Fangirl discussion, we're going to see 37 races during the course of the week. She is absolutely at the top of the list now in terms of horses you want to follow.
Yeah, you have to put her down. She's got a lot of good races at her mercy, and J-Mac said pretty much as much.
He said post-races she could be undefeated at this stage.
Yes.
She's had no luck, and she's just got that upward profile, travels beautifully in her races and can accelerate, and got a beautiful action too.
So that's Derby.
Race 2 on Derby Day is the Lexus Hotham Stakes, of course, last-ditched attempt for runners to get into the Melbourne Cup field, and some big news coming through these days. $8 million Lexus Melbourne Cup. Your numbers, Hutch?
I'm with Great House. I like the Caulfield Cup run, and I think this is a very winnable race for that galloper, but the market might be suggesting...
For me, he's a horse that just did everything right in the mounting yard. I think in terms of his condition, he looked...
Favourites are drifting, and King's Charisma is where the cash is heading right now, just continues to firm. And I'll tell you what, the skies just have opened a bit, not going to have any effect on this race, but maybe Colette a little bit later. Great House out to $3.60 now. That price has just continued to drift.
Ready to go. Racing now. Soleil Nuage from the outside stall was last to leave. Over on the far side, Mankind jumped well, but Knight's Order is going to head it off early. Not far away, King's Charisma with the blue distinguishing cap and Fun Fact marker. Knight's Order led by a length and got fractionally quicker from Fun Fact second. 2 lengths, Mankind, King's Charisma. A length and a half, Mirage Dancer, followed by La Donde V, Great House Emissary, and Soleil Nuage last as they reach the 700. Knight's Order led by 2 lengths approaching the corner. From in second place, Mankind, and then Fun Fact, who just loses a little bit of ground there. Mirage Dancer passing it, and King's Charisma's into the clear nice and early today. Then came Emissary getting off the fence. Further back, La Donde V, and then Great House still has 7 to pick up. In the straight at the 400, Knight's Order grabbed by Mankind. Then came King's Charisma 2 lengths away as they sprint up. Great House is running on. 300 metres to go, a bit to play for here. And the leader is Mankind, led by 2 lengths to Great House, giving strong chase. Mankind loves a stoush at the 150. Great House wearing it down. Mankind a neck. Great House levels up, takes the lead, and Great House is going to be in the race on Tuesday. Great House 3/4 Mankind. A gap to a photo third, Emissary prominent from La Donde V. Then came King's Charisma, Mirage Dancer, Knight's Order got tired, Soleil Nuage and Fun Fact.
The Caulfield Cup provides the 2021 Lexus Hotham winner in the form of Great House. What a start to the day for Chris Waller and James McDonald. They've gone bang, bang to get Victoria Derby Day started. Great House, of course, Newcastle Cup winner, 5th in the Metropolitan, a very good 5th when it was a Emergency who got a run in the Caulfield Cup and in the end able to reel in Mankind. Great House, as Matt Hill mentioned, just...
Great House, who brought arguably the best form to the race. It took him the whole Flemington straight to reel in. A very brave Mankind who was close enough to...
Way out. The track record is 2:33 neat. So they're only a second and a half outside the track record, and they were really buzzing along. Now, these are high-class...
Sure of his place with this performance, and Hutch, he's tuned up by winning this race after winning the Group 3 Newcastle Cup 3 runs back. He's the only winner of this race to break 2:35 this century. It was run at a pretty solid tempo, particularly set, not surprisingly, by Gai Waterhouse and Adrian Bott's Knight's Order. He was 5th in the Caulfield Cup, goes back to 50 kilos on Tuesday from Barrier 7, where he'll have the services of Michael D. Mankind logged a 5th placing in 5 Australian starts for Mar Eustace, and he said arguably...
Wearing it down, Mankind and neck, Great House levels up, takes the lead, and Great House is going to be in the race on Tuesday. Great House, three-quarters
He'll be
Mankind.
one of 4 runners for Chris Waller in Tuesday's Melbourne Cup. They've, of course, accepted with very elegant...
Well, it is one-way traffic in the Linlithgow, and that traffic is heading down Oxley Road, who meets Kemmel Parser right now 5 kilos better at the weights, which you can see the punters really separated these two at the top of the market as soon as...
Oxley Road can win it. He was terrific when winning the Caulfield Sprint. He's run prior.
On Oxley Road, he's produced what I would describe as a typical parade from him.
Market's definitely seen this one as a 2-horse race with Brooklyn Hustle, and of most of which Oxley Road, who's currently dominating the weight of money standings, currently the best backed across all the races at the moment.
And they're racing. Instant Celebrity jumped cleanly in the middle. Kemmel Parser out well, will lead from Oxley Road. And behind those horses, Isaurian, as Kemmel Parser is 150 metres to go. Kemmel Parser over on the far side and Oxley Road up the middle. Then Isaurian and next Instant Celebrity, Brooklyn Hustle. Towards the end of the field, Sammersdat, and also back with those Just a Canter. 450 out, Oxley Road in front by a length and a half to Kemmel Parser, followed by Isaurian. Back behind those, Brooklyn Hustle is only 2.5 off Oxley Road as they reach the clock tower. Oxley Road given a slap with the whip, but it's Waywood. Lugs in on top of Kemmel Parser. Isaurian over on the far side is lifting. Just a Canter's running on. Isaurian at the 50. Kemmel Parser fights back. Just a Canter drives at them both. Just a Canter may have just won. Just a Canter in the middle from Kemmel Parser or Isaurian. It's a 3-way photo though. Then Brooklyn Hustle, Oxley Road. Back behind them, Sammersdat. And at the tail of the field, Instant Celebrity. A photo finish.
Well, the New Zealand imports who've joined Victorian stables are having some sort of spring. We know Mr. Brightside's prominent and such a chance ahead of the Cantala a little bit later this afternoon, but Patrick Payne and his team have done a super job with the 8-year-old by Piran Canto. Just a Canto. He'd been, of course, at the highest level in New Zealand on the one occasion. That was in the Railway on New Year's Day this year when behind the likes of Avantage and Levante. But he grabs so often. That is the profile for winners up the Flemington Straight, and particularly this time of year.
The group racing continues here with the Wakeful Stakes over 20 moment. The price is quite fluctuated. Got down to $3.60, back out to around $4.40. We now see that level out at around $3.90. So the support is coming there. Now, Barb Raider, the...
Raider sort of back in trip, close to a strong speed, and still battled well to finish third behind Yearning. I'm expecting back to Flemington up in...
With the way that this filly has handled her preparation right from day one. I know that there was...
Patroness still the best back, now returning to that morning quote of $3.80. But if James picked Barb Raider as the pick of the yard, and the experts have got it as well, I expected that price.
Clear given, and they're racing. Stalking goes back to the end of the field, and Native Girl also sneaking back towards the end with Audrey Girl. Barb Raider led them with El Patroness early. El Patroness is going to have that inside advantage to lead them from there. So El Patroness dictating as they reach the 800 marker by about a half length to Barb Raider. Do Sir third outside of Daisies, and then came the 1,000 guineas winner Yearning, spotting the lead about 4 lengths. Further back, Stalking getting off the fence. Next, Willowy about to be called upon from Native Native Girl. Kapalua Sunset third last from Audrey Girl. Tis My Bay. There's been little change. 500 to go. It's El Patroness with Barb Raider getting a bit closer. Do Sir a length away. Daisies is starting to get off the fence, yearning up the middle, and they were followed by Stalking and Willowy. El Patroness at the 300, joined by Barb Raider, who's going better. Daisies into the clear. Do Sir and Yearning down the middle. Barb Raider at the 200 metres with Daisies, Do Sir and then Yearning. Daisies kicks in, 100 metres to go, extends. Willowy is flashing home. Daisies in front, but Willowy's a big threat. Willowy's got up to win from Daisies, Do Sir and Yearning. Then came Barb Raider and Tis My Bay from Stalking Native Girl, and then finishing well back El Patroness from Audrey Girl, and at the tail of the field was Kapalua Sunset.
Father captured on 14 occasions. James Cummings has got himself a wakeful and a serious chance, perhaps, in Thursday's Kennedy VRC Oaks. What a ride from John McNeil to sweep past all the
1600 metre Newcastle maiden 18 days ago by nearly 5 lengths. She sat midfield, had the back of 1,000 Guineas winner Yearning, who looked to be really travelling into the race, Hutch, but in the end Willowy was too strong with the last 200 for the ethereal winner. Daisy's pretty good. Desir into third. The Oaks fancies, though, Barb Raider and El Patroness were unplaced, and their bubbles popped.
There were some bubbles burst yesterday. That was, I think that was almost, and this is a little disrespectful to the winner, but that was almost the story of the race, wasn't it? The Wakeful that...
He's in front, but Willowy's a big threat. Willowy's got up to win from Daisies, Do Sir and Yearning. Then came Barb Raider.
So here's the Oaks market, and it is wide open. I mean, Elusive Express is the other one coming out of the Manifold and 1,000 Guineas form line, who bypassed yesterday's Wakeful and sits alongside Willowy, who's rocketed into favouritism. Worth noting as well, Kapalua Sunset, who was all the rage prior to her poor run in the ethereal, had a slow recovery yesterday as well. And
well, if you don't like Group 1 racing, then I've got bad news for you. We got 4 of the best coming up right now at Flemington as we crack right into it with the Empire Rose and Tofane. I like to think that this horse gave Incentivise a little bit of a scare, but I've also been told I'm an idiot for thinking that Incentivise never gets scared. But now into $3, the market's really come, especially over the last 10 or so minutes. $3.60 into $3, well weighted at the 57 kilo.
She was sensational. She steps to the mile here.
And that was after a setback following the Mackay Diva. They wanted a different path this spring, but she won well there, declared by BZ as the bet of the spring, so well done if you got a bit on her that day, and I'm sure there'll be plenty that would be happy to back up today.
2 is Mystic Journey, of course, winner of an Australian Guineas and an All-Star Mile here. She was desperately unlucky when in traffic in this race last year. It's been a real starts. They, of course, yielded the Brisbane double of the Stradbroke and the Tats Tiara. Her Melbourne Spring has seen her run 3rd in a Memsie, 4th in a Mackay Diva, and last start 2nd in a Turak.
Listen to some of the horses that have beaten a behemoth. Incentivise, I'm thunderstruck. I mean, she has run and acquitted herself, particularly...
Empire Rose, who are you with, Hutch?
Tofane, I think she's got the right form. I mean, she's been performing admirably in some of the Group 1 contests, all preparation.
Others in terms of the way they were presented, and that's Mystic Journey and Tofane. Tofane's produced the best parade.
Tofane now holding 3 times the money than any other runner in the race right now. Jane's pick of the yard there. Mystic Journey is better supported than the price would suggest. At the moment, at that $7 quote, the 3rd best backed runner. Colette, barring a tsunami hitting the track, I would imagine that price would continue to drift $7 out to $12 now, just needing a little bit more.
Run, gates are back and they're away. Sierra Sue away with them. Tofane out well with Pride of Jenny. Still a Star not far off. Mirror Vision in the blue jacket, wider from Flying Mascot, and Harmony Rose from a wide alley is also charging over. Sierra Sue's in about 6th, followed by Amaralinia, and then came Mystic Journey, Nimali. Back in the field, Colette, Hungry Heart, Kiku, and Amaralinia next the outside of Mystic Journey at the 900. A length and a quarter, Nimali, and then Colette, Hungry Heart towards the back, Kiku. Steinem at the end of the field, 800 to go, and Pride of Jenny kept them running in the Group 1 by about 2.5 lengths, Mirror Vision. 4 lengths, Flying Mascot, and then came Tofane up around the bend at the 600 metres. In between horses then is Still a Star, Sierra Sue, Harmony Rose, Amaralinia, and then came Mystic Journey with 10 to make up. Further back, Nimmerly, Hungry Heart. Colette's a long way back with Kiku and Steinem. Pride of Jenny led by a length. Mirror Vision at the 400 metres. Tefane in plenty of air. 2 off the lead from Flying Mascot. Colette's running on the fence, and then Mystic Journey and Sierra Sue. Mirror Vision at the clock tower. Tefane and Flying Mascot chisel into the margin. Flying Mascot takes the front. Mystic Journey, Hungry Heart is flashing out wide. Mystic Journey and Colette drives through. Colette from Mystic Journey. Colette just in front. Colette, what a ride! Colette wins from Mystic Journey, Hungry Heart, Nimmerly 4. Then a wall of them. Flying Mascot, Mirror Vision, Tefane couldn't pick up when needed. Steinem, then Sierra Sue, Kiku, Pride of Jenny made it a race. Still a Star Harmony Rose and Amaralinia, but Ollie's done it again.
Damien Oliver with his 124th Group 1 win, and he charts a winning path for James Cummings, his 29th success at the top level as a trainer in the Tab Empire Rose Stakes aboard Colette. 12 months after she sprouted wings to win the Golden Eagle, she takes the Group 1 and adds to what is already a glittering CV now as a mare. Of course,
she had an eagle that she picked up on this day 12 months ago. Also collects $1 million bonus after Racing Victoria, of course, instituted that spring feature double. She, of course, claimed the Trish Stark as well as the Empire Rose. From 8, Harcholi headed for the rail on the back of eventual runner-up Mystic Journey. Luke Nolan weaves the
breaks and running. Look, I thought both Mystic Journey was given a great ride, and so was Ollie's, but on this occasion Colette was too good, and you're right, perhaps that ground save was the difference at the end of the day, but I think Mystic Journey, she had a chance as well, Michael.
Yeah, top ride, 2 very good rides, and Colette was just better on the day, but Mystic Journey, I thought was going to win about here.
Flying Mascot, Colette's running on the fence, and then Mystic Journey and Sierra Sue. Mirror Vision at the clock tower. Tefane and Flying Mascot chisel into the margin. Flying Mascot takes the front. Mystic Journey, Hungry Heart is flashing out wide. Mystic Journey and Colette drives through. Colette from Mystic Journey. Colette just in front. Colette, what a ride! Colette wins from Mystic Journey, Hungry Heart, Nimmerly.
A couple of hours later, he was
niggling at her from a fair way out. What were you thinking during the race, and were you confident sort of at the top of the straight that you could reel in the leaders?
Yeah, that's right. She never really towed me into the race, and it was a very strong tempo, and she was off the bit of fairway from home. But I was following Mystic Journey, I thought was obviously a great chance in the race, was going to take me into the race. And when she peeled off, getting to the turn, it opened up a little bit for me, and I could see that Tefane was just not too far up in front, and that I just really had to just cuddle her as long as I could while riding her along as well. And I thought, if I'm going to win this, it's going to be late, because that I hadn't really travelled in the run, and I didn't want to bottom her out too early in the straight. I wanted to cuddle her and nurse her as deep as I could into the race, and then hopefully get the split, which I did, and nail the race late, which you know, she did a great job in doing so.
Ollie, Clint here, obviously well aware of this record that you've now set as well in terms of winners over the Spring Carnival. That must be pretty special.
It's a huge thrill, Clint. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Flemington Carnival's been going so long, and there's been some wonderful, great jockeys over that period of time riding it. So, you know, for over 30 years now to be riding at it and be so successful, it's a record I'm really proud of.
A great training performance to you. She had that setback coming into this preparation, Colette, so James and the team have done a great job with her, and what a ride by Ollie. He was terrific yesterday, although he probably should have nearly won the Derby. And Steinem was the other one that caught my eye. Maybe that Matriarch Stakes, 2,000 metres. That was only her 7th start, and we know how they train their middle distance horses, so I've got my eye on that Frankel mare, Steinem, probably for the Matriarch if she goes there.
Yeah, I think... Here we go. It's time for the Victoria Derby, and Gunstock, well, he's drawn way out wide, and that price is drifting, but so is Forgot You. All the talk in the lead up to this race was about the 2 race favourites, but they've both drifted throughout the day, with punters really looking at some of these outside chances to really break open the bank in this massive race. Tutu Kaka, well supported, $9 into 8. Jungle Magnate, 19 into 13 on the outside. Now the top 2 into 7 on the outside there. Hitotsu, one of the best, $9 into $5.50. Could even challenge for favouritism here. I think Gunstock will just hold on.
Victoria Derby, Group 1 worth $2 million. Clint Hutchison, your numbers.
I'm not sure there's a standout. The market would really reflect that, but Forgot You's got the miles in the legs, got the pedigree, and Gunstock,
he's going to have to navigate that wide gate, but there's been no disadvantage to go back and sort of hit the line strongly. So John McNeil's been one of
these gallopers. It's at Derby. They're all here at their peak. I'm going with Tutakaka on top. Probably comes.
It's continued to trend toward this horse, Simon.
Outside of that Gunstock.
Well, Hitotsu, the market has continued to trend toward this horse. Simon Marshall tipped this one at $9 this morning, and the market's really had a push here now. Equal favourite with Gunstock. We didn't expect that at the start of the week when these markets open, but Gunstock has just...
So a clear favourite is Hitotsu. It'll be some preparation. Donald first up 1,300, then to the Caulfield Guineas 1,600, third run 2,500 to win the Derby. Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace.
And they're racing. Hitotsu away fairly, Forgot You out well, with Character out wider, Gun Deck and Akahiro over on the far side. So after 100 metres, it's Character forcing up outside of Gun Deck, Akahiro and Forgot You's nice and close, and they were followed by Clyde. T Waters the rails, Jungle Magnate's a bit closer as we were told, and then checked off heels there and overreacted, and as a result checked Allegron. Next in the field, Hitotsu, and then came Gunstock, one off the fence, Choo-Choo from Cheerful Moment. Hitotsu's got three behind it. They are Commander Harry, Choo-Choo Kaka, and Cerberus is last in the Derby. So 1,000 metres to run. It's Jungle Magnate the leader by about a length. El Rocco, a length and a half to Gun Deck third outside of Akahiro, and Allegron working hard wider. Then came Character, Forgot You as 5 off the lead from Raging Bull and T Waters. Then Gunstock, a length to Clyde, Commander Harry, Choo-Choo Kaka, Cheerful Moment. Well back, Hitotsu's gone back to second last, and Cerberus is last of all. 600 to go. It's Jungle Magnate leading from El Rocco, and then came Allegron, dug up out 3 wide. Gun Deck behind those horses. Character presents 4 deep. Akahiro behind them from T Waters. Forgot You with a lot to do from Commander Harry. Choo-Choo Kaka unleashing down the outside as Allegron went for home. 350 out. It's Allegron. It's done some work, but it kicks away. 2.5 lengths in front of Hitotsu, who's out into the clear and chasing. Allegron at the 200. Here's Hitotsu though, finishing at a rate of knots. Hitotsu goes on by. Hitotsu storms away. Hitotsu wins the Penfolds Victoria Derby. 2 lengths Allegron. T Waters third. Raging Bull fourth. A long gap Forgot You. Choo-Choo Kaka. Next to finish Cerberus Clyde. Then Character, Jungle Magnate. Well back in the field, Gun Deck, Gunstock, Commander Harry. Then a long gap Akahiro, El Rocco, and Cheerful Moment was last.
Last to the home turn, first to the finishing post. What a pulsating Derby performance from Hitotsu, who absolutely sprouted wings when John Allen got the gap. And what a week in the life of the Irishman, who set sail for Australia some years ago to ride over the jumps and is fast becoming one of our premier flat riders. His 14th Group 1 and the 10th Group 1 for the Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace partnership. And they are the absolute supreme trainers when it comes to staying talent in this country. Hitotsu won a Donald Maiden and performed admirably for 5th in the Caulfield Guineas. That has been his preparation for the Derby. It's been unconventional, but it's been spectacular. 9-3, 16 and 14 in a fantastic edition of the Penfolds Victoria Derby.
And Kieran Maher and Dave Hughes just...
Space a week, of course, after claiming the Cox Plate on state of rest, and he carves his way clear. You'll see it in the vision. 400 metres out, he caused interference to Forgot You and incurred a suspension that will commence post-Cup Day. A rare preparation, to say the least, Hutch, since 2005.
But the interesting fact that I took from this race, which ranked 6th according to the daily sectionals, was that Hitotsu has clocked the 7th best final 200 at the entire meeting, which even off a slow tempo is some sort of feat, given it was a 2,500 metre race. So a serious talent. As for the rest, well, I'm not sure there's a lot to be said.
Heading to the turns.
Behind them from T Waters, Forgot You with a lot to do from Commander Harry. Choo-Choo Kaka unleashing down the outside as Allegron went for home. 350 out, it's Allegron. It's done some work, but it kicks away. 2.5 lengths in front of Hitotsu, who's out into the clear and chasing. Allegron at the 200. Here's Hitotsu though, finishing at a rate of knots. Hitotsu goes on by. Hitotsu storms away. Hitotsu wins the Penfolds Victoria Derby. 2 lengths Allegron. T Waters third. Raging Bull fourth. A long gap Forgot You.
Special time for John Allen at the moment, Michael. What are the plan too? And we spoke to John post-race. He rode Hitotsu at the start of his preparation, a couple of runs ago, admittedly. Sunday, the 12th of September, in a Donald 1,350-metre maiden. And post-race, again, he spoke to the fact that he got off and thought, this can be a Derby winner.
Yeah, his judgment was spot on, very accurate, and he, like Michael said, you don't normally see him get emotional. That one meant a bit to him. In terms of
Hitotsu winning the VRC Derby, we've seen the performances of Profondo, who arguably could have gone to the race off winning the Spring Champion at his third career start and contest that race yesterday. They're going to be fun to watch, and those Japanese bloodlines could perhaps start revitalising our domestic staying stocks.
Well, I think that's the key. I mean, it is notable that we've had Deep Impact sire of Profondo and now Maurice, the sire of Hitotsu. So the Japanese staying talent, which, you know, it's been there for some time now, and we're starting to see it have its influence in Australia. And I can't wait to the autumn because I think Hitotsu versus Profondo, we could have two elite 3-year-olds as we head into the autumn.
And then, like I said,
seeing Ma Eustace next to Hitotsu, you were pretty comfortable going, well, they know exactly what they are doing, regardless of how unconventional the prep looked.
And the market had no problems with it either. It was like $6 into $4 favourite, and the money just kept on coming for it in a very strong betting race for a horse stepping up from 1,600 to 2,500 metres. As you say, the Ma Eustace team, they're just rewriting what the new norms are. You know, that they are elite trained horses bringing to the race day.
Credit where it's due for the podium fillers in Allegron and T Waters.
Yeah, I thought Allegron was very good because Allegron copped a little bit of a bump the first turn, and you don't need much to be put off your game.
The distance there, and there was a couple of other runners I thought was Gunstock pulled up with Lame in the off-4, and Hitotsu, by the way, had a laceration to his tongue. If you saw a little bit of blood there, that was the reason there. And there was and a great training performance. You know, he's obviously a talented horse. Second horse was unlucky, I think. He got in that trouble on that first turn and went for home, and you could make a case he should have fought that finish right out there, but I think I know it's a Sydney had a game, but it just franks this Profondo form. You know, Allegron, he beat Allegron obviously in the Champion Stakes, and Raging Bulls run a bottler there, and he was 6 lengths away in that race as well. So it just points to that.
Group 1 racing just keeps on coming here with the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and Extreme Warrior sits up the top of the market. Has received a little bit more support over the last 10 minutes after just drifting out of touch. He's $4.40 into $3.90, the winner of the Blue Sapphire there, which does read all right for this one with Extreme Warrior. $4.40 into $4 now here, $5 out to $7. Really good support for Home Affairs, $12 into $8.50, the best supporter of the outside.
Oh, well, it's a really open contest, so there's a lot of horses here that if they brought their absolute best, they could win it, but I think it will prove to be a vintage edition. I think Kalos can win it for James Cummings.
He seems as though he's been the pick of their 3-year-olds throughout the campaign, and if he can just...
On top in Home Affairs, we know the Wallace stable's been in superb order today, and they've brought another horse to the races at his absolute peak. He had great muscle.
Back holding twice the turnover as any other runner in this race with Sportsbet, now into $3.50. That cash continues to come. $4.40 at open, now into $3.50 in the Congo.
And away they go. Beginning okay was Paulele. Artorias away only fairly. Overpass erratic early, showing speed. Home Affairs led within the Congo. Shaquiro, Marine 1 and Kalos. And they were followed by Sword of State, Extreme Warrior, Bruckner. Further back is Battleton in the middle of the field as they settle down, and they're all coming over towards the far side rail. Overpasses in the back half with Paulele, also Ranch Hand, and Minsk Moment Ingratiating is also well back. 700 metres to run, and the leader is in the Congo with Home Affairs, Marine 1, Shaquiro behind them, followed by Kalos, Sword of State, Extreme Warrior. Next, Battleton, Extreme Flight and Bruckner. Well back in the field, Paulele, Ranch Hand, Ingratiating, Overpass, and they were followed by Artorias and Minsk Moment. That's the order at the 400 metres at its Home Affairs, just in front here, and now kicks clear. Home Affairs opens up and put up 2 lengths. Sword of State, Extreme Warrior getting out, followed by Kalos, Battleton. Home Affairs went for home at the 150. 3-4 lengths in front. It's put a gap in them. Home Affairs brooked around into second, but Home Affairs has made a mess of them. Home Affairs from Brookner. Artorias flashing through for third. Then came Ranch Hand, and next over past battled an ingratiating Minsk Moment. Further back Shaquiro. Next in the field, Extreme Warrior sort of state. Then Marine One. Next Pal Laley never involved from Extreme Flight in the Congo got tired. Minsk Moment and Kalos at the tail of the field, but it's J Mac with a big treble at Flemington on Home Affairs.
And Chris Waller has an absolute stranglehold on the Coolmore Stud Stakes. 5 wins in the last 9 runnings of the race. Zoostar, Brazen Bow, Japanisme, and last year, of course, September Run. But that's arguably the most dominant of them. Home Affairs absolutely gaps them in the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and James McDonald has absolutely gaps them in the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and James McDonald has come to Flemington on Derby Day and is running amok. He has a treble on the afternoon. 5.
And Michael, we can see Home Affairs, as we mentioned, left of screen there in the nose roll. James McDonald just charts a path across to the front, and it was all over not long after this.
Yeah, he just sold because I went to 7 lengths faster than standard the first, effectively the first couple of sections, so they were rolling. But what surprised me, Nigel, was just this burst of acceleration which we're about to see now as we're taking the call from Matt Hill.
2 lengths sort of state. Extreme Warrior getting out, followed by Kalos Battleton. Home Affairs went for home at the 150. 3-4 lengths in front. It's put a gap in them. Home Affairs brooked around into second, but Home Affairs has made a mess of them. Home Affairs from Brookner. Artorias flashing through for third.
It was aptly put by Matt Hill. He did make a mess of them. Brookner emerged from the pack, the McNeil winner for second, and Artorias doing Artorias things was way out of commission before Glenn Boss was able to weave a path late, and he claims a Group 1 third.
His racing pattern's always going to be against him, though, Artorias, but geez, what an impressive run for third. But all credit to the winner. He's a very valuable colt. No doubt he'll be residing at Coolmore when his racing days are over.
Into the fact that the stable were prepared to send him to an Everest, you had to respect their opinion.
Yep. Friday night he was $10 and he goes around $5.50 yesterday. So just sustained market support for Home Affairs. First time down the straight. That was a scintillating performance.
We see it time and time again, though, Chris.
And finished off quite well. But all honours with the winner, Home Affairs. What would he be worth now? 40 million?
Oh, unbelievable win. And you're right. What about the time? You know, the Lithgow run 1:10.6. 1:10.06, I should say. And he's run 1:8.73. And a 3-year-old. And what a dominant performance. Well, and just little things. Chris put the nose roll on him. He put a tongue tie on him. Just those little 1%ers that do the job. But job done with him. An explosive win. Look, you may manage James McDonald.
So you look at the form around the Toorak. Yes, I know Tefane never measured up, but I'm Thunderstruck, just won the Golden Eagle up in Sydney. It's a very strong form line. Even his performance prior to that behind Zaki was commendable. He won the Fian. There's been significant form out of that. And he does tend to run his...
Horribly wrong, not saying he would have won there, but he ran into a lot of trouble there. So, and there were probably a couple in the invitation that might have also struck a little bit of bother, but he's in good form. There's a little bit of market support. Answering the call, Mr. Brightside, the form around him's good, albeit at a lower level. The Seymour Cup win was terrific. They didn't go quick, but doesn't really...
In the 2021 Kennedy Cantala over the mile. Your numbers, Hutch?
I'm pretty keen on Shayla. I thought this was a really good value chance on the day. It's been good market support, which I'm not surprised to.
I like it and Cascadian, some of those older, tough geldings who really relish.
Cascadian on top for me. I thought this was a terrific parade from a horse that looks incredibly...
Funny BZ, there's going to be plenty of 2-3 horse plays in this one. Shayla's been really well supported over the last 5 or so minutes, and Hutchie mentioned a bit of late support coming for the top chance in Mr. Brightside. That has just ticked back out to the $5 quote, but again, still the best back runner in this horse over the last 5 or so minutes. Ice Bath, $11 into $6.50 in the same basket there as Shayla, and Superstorm just holding rock solid around that $8, not too much cash.
Sets racing now. Mr. Brightside away pretty well. Just Folk out very well with Buffalo River, Arameo and Riadini. And they were followed by Karma Lass, who lobs in 5th underneath of Mr. Brightside as they settle. Then Romancer, Quantum Mechanic further back. Zoo Tories in the back half. King Magnus well back in the field. Then towards the end, Cascadian with Superstorm travelling together. Ice Bath is second last. Shaylo at the end of the field. It's been solid. 800 metres to run. Buffalo River by a length. Riadini Riadini, and they're 5 lengths in front of Just Folk, and then came Arameo. A length and a quarter Romancer, 5th outside of Mr. Brightside from Zootori, Quantum Mechanic, Karma Lass, then King Magnus, Superstorm, Cascadian, Ice Bath and J-Lo. On the point of the corner, 500 to go. It's Buffalo River by 2 lengths Riadini. 4 lengths away, Mr. Brightside chasing with Just Folk and Arameo. Then Karma Lass, Quantum Mechanic, Romancer. J-Lo still last. Buffalo River at the 300 metres and Riadini coming back to them. Mr. Brightside runs up behind them. Cascadian's going to follow it through. King Magnus down the outside. J-Lo and Ice Bath run on, but Cascadian drove through at the 100. It's Cascadian just in front of Mr. Brightside. King Magnus, Superstorm late. Cascadian holding on. Superstorm dives. Photo. Superstorm, Cascadian within between horses. Mr. Brightside, then Ice Bath. Next, Just Folk, King Magnus, Riadini. What a finish. J-Lo behind them from Arameo, Quantum Mechanic. Buffalo River got tired. Karma Lass, Romancer and Zootori.
So it's a photo in the Cantala, a withering finish. Cascadian's on the fence. Mr. Brightside in the middle. Superstorm trying to get over the top of them. Ice Bath out the widest. A bob of the heads. It is extraordinarily close, and it goes to Superstorm. Damien Oliver gets both the Group 1 miles on Derby Day with very similar duck and weave rides. A spectacular.
Needed every centimetre of that 1,600 metres, did Damien Oliver, but how often do we say it? Time to perfection. How many of these short head close finishes does he manage to nail? And he's done it again. And there's a West to Superstorm.
And that's now 25 career Group 1s for Damien Oliver here at Flemington during the Carnival, which is quite remarkable. He equalled Bobby Lewis earlier today with his 24th. He now goes past him with 25. To have 25 Group 1s in a career across the heels of a few horses, there was a lot to look at. Ice Bath goes down by the barest of margins. Has there been a mare that has been narrowly denied by the smallest margins on a couple of occasions in big races? You go back through her career, she's been narrowly beaten in so many Group 1s. She just...
Superstorm, who rose above the pack of 6, who'd finished within a length at the finish, securing a Group 1 success at his 8th try after placings in an Australian Guineas, 2 Turacs, an Underwood as well as an All-Star Mile. Ollie's second Cantala, he won this race back with Happy Trails 9 years ago. The Invitation winner race back with Happy Trails 9 years ago. The Invitation winner Ice Bath adds a Cantala to her second in the Doncaster earlier in the year. And Cascadian has run 3rd, 2nd and 3rd in this race the last 3 years, beaten 0.2, 0.3 and 0.2 of a length. Mr. Brightside, fantastic, just to round out what's been a supreme prep, rising from a mid...
Once again, I'll mention Matt Hill's call. I don't know how he's managed to do to pump out what he has in the last 100, because I didn't know, Nigel, where to look. No.
Mr. Brightside runs up behind them. Cascadian's going to follow it through. King Magnus down the outside. J-Lo and Ice Bath run on, but Cascadian drove through at the 100. It's Cascadian just in front of Mr. Brightside. King Magnus, Superstorm late. Cascadian holding on. Superstorm dives. Photo. Superstorm, Cascadian within between horses. Mr. Brightside.
Yeah, I find calling 44 footy players spread out on 170 by 150 metre field very, very easy compared to poor Matt, who field of 16, Flemington Mile, and 6 of them finished within a length. He is a special talent.
Incredible. And it was
the barriers drawn for Tuesday's $8 million Lexus Melbourne Cup. The field has been set, incentivisers drawn. Gate 16, history beckons as he tries to become the 12th horse to complete the Caulfield Cup Melbourne Cup double, and he's doing it against largely a domestic and imported contingent. It's basically Twilight Payment, Spanish Mission, and then a bunch of horses that we know pretty well.
Well, I think it's fair to say it's you know, he's justified where he is in the market, Mike. I mean, it's not laden with depth, is it?
Oh, there's a long tail to the Melbourne Cup this year. I don't think I've seen that many sort of 200, 300 to 1 chances in a Melbourne Cup in many, many years. So I think drawn barrier 16, we've got a long run to the first bend. He'll just take his time to position wherever Brett is comfortable with incentivise, he'll be.
I'm trying to find something in his armour that I could break if I was a jockey competing against him. I can't find anything.
The only question mark is it doesn't do the Melbourne Cup justice in terms of trying to summarise the race, but I've clearly got to have Incentivise on top. Got a healthy regard for Twilight Payment. I know they'll make it a genuine tempo and try and take the sprint out of the...
Obviously, I'm the same boat as everyone else. I think he could be one out of the box. Incentivise. Spanish Mission, obviously, I think...
Yeah, it's a great story, Incentivise, and he would have been hard to beat in any year, don't worry. I know that there's no international participation, but it would have been nice to see him line up against a few of their better ones. But Grand Promenade, floating artist for them.
I've done a hell of a lot of deep diving between getting home from the track last night and seeing the field, but I feel like Delphi, if the Freedman camp are going to take him...
After the Brisbane Carnival, we were referring to Incentivise, oh, here's Farlap.
Yeah.
Here he is, here's Farlap.
That's right.
He's going to start the shortest price favourite since Farlap.
Yes.
Get your head around that.
Incredible.
Get your head around that.
I was watching a Trusted News. Well, how can you look behind him out of that race? Usually we replay this Caulfield Cup 10 times, 20 times. We look at every runner, we dissect. Can you try and make a case for him? This year you just drop the form and say, now, how can you go with anything behind him in that race, even with the extra distance? It's nearly impossible. You've got to look elsewhere.
That's it.
Yeah, well, I can't go past him. I just, every which way I look at it, Incentivise just stands out by easily. Twilight Payment, I know he's got a...
I'm going to do a lot more work on it today. No, obviously, it's going to be hard to tip against the favourite, but I think Very Elegant's going to be right up there with her class. Just whether Chris has just trained her, just took the sting out of her in the Cox Plate, whether he's trained her for the 2 mile. He was sort of afterthought last year, but he may have just trained her for the race this year.
Wonder what would be...
He's the horse we've been waiting for. A genuine Australian stayer. With an Australian story, the latest and grandest race. A piece of history. The shortest price favourite to start in the race since the immortal Farlap. Aiming to do what no Caulfield Cup winner has done since Ethereal completed the Cup stubble in 2001. 57 kilograms. Only the unparalleled Maccabi Diva has carried more to victory in the past 44 years. History waits for one.
Massive race coming up, the Lexus at Melbourne Cup, and the big question, Incentivise. How low is that price going to get? Right now sitting at $2.80 in the market, but I'll tell you what, the sharps, the pros are starting to get involved. We're seeing some big bets, some strong bets come through here. I reckon that price potentially ticks more towards the $2.50 range, so I don't reckon you're going to get better than $2.80 for this star gelding. Spanish Mission took it right for this star gelding. Spanish Mission took it right up to Stradivarius. A few issues in the lead up. The market is just cautious here. $7.
Chasing history to be the 12th to do the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double, the first since Ethereal in 2001. He chases his 10th straight win, coming off Group 1 victories in the Maccabi Diva, the Turnbull and the Caulfield Cup.
And those 9 wins that you just referenced, Nigel, have come at a combined winning margin of 45 lengths. He is absolutely pummelling his opposition. He has the ability to sprint off a slow tempo. He's got the ability to absorb a fast tempo. These types of horses are so hard to get beaten. He's got a slightly sticky gait, but we saw in the Caulfield Cup, he's...
Place getter in the Melbourne Cup previously, Prince of Arran. His most recent run, second to Stradivarius in the Lonsdale Cup back in August.
Well, the 3,200 metres won't be a query for him whatsoever. He's won over 3,600 metres, and as you referenced, ran a great ball.
Horse 4 is Very Elegant. Brent, she was 3rd in the Cox Plate, 7th, beaten less than 4 lengths last year, when way back.
She was outstanding in the Melbourne Cup last year, and you know, there is question marks as to whether she's going as well this time around as she was 12 months ago, but James McDonald is oozing with confidence with this mare. She was 3rd in a Cox Plate last time out, and we only heard from him after Profiteer. He thinks she's a top 5 chance. He's the best jockey in the country. He knows her more than most, and if he's suggesting that, I think you've got to respect it.
Seeing her first of the 3 horses on the minimum weight of 50 kilos is Floating Artist, who was 2nd in the Moonee Valley Cup.
He's been heavily supported, and yes, hasn't been able to get the job done at his past 2 starts at Caulfield and the Coonji.
Top 4.
Yeah, I've got to be with Incentivise. What a great story it will be if this Toowoomba gelding can travel down south and take out the Lexus Melbourne Cup in 2020.
Moody and Brett Preble been with this horse right through the preparation, and no reason to drop off now. He's going to be exceptionally hard to beat.
That is exactly what I've done with Incentivise. He was a standout to me. He had all the same characteristics as he normally does, and as soon as that jockey got...
Twilight Payment also getting some really good support. 15 $15 into $13 there. Still the third best back with Sportsbet. Spanish Mission starting to get a little bit of money as well with Willow on board. $7 out to $9. Still a drifter, but incentivised. I reckon that $2.80 price tag might just hold until we jump here. Floating Artist again, $15 into 11. Plenty of chances here, but incentivised is the one for Sportsbet.
Signal from behind, and they're racing in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Explosive Jack away fairly, the chosen one out well, with also Delphi and Pondus over on the far side. Incentivize is about 7th early as they're looking to cross over. Treleros is also up there with Knight's Order, Floating Artist, Persan. Out deep, Grand Promenade's not too far away from the favourite. So they're right across the track here as they link onto the course proper at the 400 metres on the first round. Great House with Knight's Order, Floating Artist, Persan deeper. Incentivizes 6 deep at the moment. Then came Treleros, Cariff, Grand Promenade. The chosen one checked off heels at that stage. Delphi on the fence, Spanish Mission deeper, and they were followed by Pondus. 2 further back, Very Elegant, and then Ocean Billy, Twilight Payment. A gap in the field to Port Guillaume, Explosive Jack Solino. Well back, Master of Wine, 4 lengths, Sir Lucan, and then came Johnny Get Angry, She's Ideal. Miami Bounders last as they reach the first turn. 2,200 to go, and it's Persan leading. Strolls out a length and a quarter, and Incentivize has got over from that wide alley and sits second, the favourite, one off the fence. 3/4 of a length to Knight's Order, followed by Floating Artist. 2 lengths, Treleros, Grand Promenade's posted 3 deep. Great House, the rails, a length and a quarter. Cariff, Spanish Mission, 3 wide with a back to follow as they head towards midway. Then came Delphi, Very Elegance, well and truly off the rails. Further back, the chosen one. Then came Lucan, 2 lengths to She's Ideal. Miami Bound is last in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. 1,400 metres to run, and the leader is Persan at an even speed by a length. Incentivize and Grand Promenade travels up 3 wide. Knight's Order a length away 4th. Then came one off the fence as they reached the 1,150. Floating Artist, a length and a half, Spanish Mission, Treleros, Great House, Very Elegant. Then came Cariff, Delphi, Twilight Payment, last year's winners, 10 off the lead. A length and a half, the chosen one, Pondus, Port Guillaume. 2 further back, Ocean Billy, Explosive Jack Solino. Then came Master of Wine, well back with Sir Lucan, 2 lengths, She's Ideal, Johnny Get Angry. Miami Bound is battling at the end of the field. 800 metres to run, and it's Persan just in front of Incentivize, who gets a bit closer. Grand Promenade 3/4 of a length away 3rd. Behind those horses then is Floating Artist, given every possible chance. Knight's Order's regressing. Coming around the outside and getting closer is Spanish Mission, and also Very Elegant from Delphi. Treleros under the whip from Great House. It's now taking the lead. Incentivize at the top of the straight. At the 400 metres, a length and a half. Floating Artist, here's Very Elegant. She's coming home. 300 to go. The mighty mare moves up to Incentivize and races on by. Then Floating Artist, Spanish Mission, but Very Elegant at the 150. The darling of the turf has raced clear. 3 lengths Incentivize, and it's Very Elegant. 10 Group 1s, and now the greatest of them all, the Melbourne Cup. Very Elegant wins by 3.5. Incentivize, Spanish Mission, Floating Artist. A gap, the chosen one, followed by Grand Promenade, Delphi. Back behind them, Solino, Treleros, She's Ideal, Twilight Payment, Sir Lucan, Miami Bound got going late. Great House, Explosive Jack, Knight's Order, Persan, Cariff, Pondus, well back in the field. Johnny Get Angry, Port Guillaume, and Ocean Billy.
What a magnificent mare she is. The 14th to win the Melbourne Cup, and the first since the great Maccabi Diva in 2003, 4 and 5. Chris Waller adds a Melbourne Cup to his Caulfield Cup and Cox Plate triumphs. He's 129th Group 1. And what about James McDonald? He turns 30 in January. He's just won his 57th Group 1, but his first major, a Melbourne Cup. He was second on Fiorente some 9 years ago in his first ride in the race. He's provided a masterful steer here aboard, Very Elegant. It was his 20th ride on this wonderful mare. He's won 10 times on her, but none of them have got anything close to the feeling that he's just experienced aboard Very Elegant. 4, 2, 3 and 22 are your numbers in the 2021 Lexus Melbourne Cup. Incentivised, Preble and Peter Moody's horse has gone so close to completing the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double. A super effort for Craig Williams and Andrew Balding with Spanish Mission, who had the staying pedigree to stick in the fight. And Floating Artist, the best of Kieran Murray and Dave Eustace forerunners, gives
toward here for a Melbourne Cup is 3:16.3. She's run 3:17.43. There's no theory that she's just a wet tracker. She has put this field away. The official margin is coming through now, and it is officially 4 lengths by a long neck. The three horses that carried by a long neck. The three horses that carried 57 kilos have run 1, 2 and 3. But the boy from just travelled so nicely into the race, and Brett Preble did what many were expecting him to do, roll forward, saddled outside the leader. He looked like he had his chance, but when the pressure was applied, Very Elegant just went into overdrive. It was incredible that she was just able to find that next gear and that beat race with the big weight. That is rare air for a mare. 57 kilos, defies history, but this amazing animal who has won now 10 Group 1s in her career, the reigning horse of the year, proves that title with an exclamation mark today.
Well, let's put it in perspective. Maccabi Diva, who won 3 Melbourne Cups, won her last Melbourne Cup in 2005 with 58 kilos on her back. So she's only carried a kilo less than the great mare Maccabi. I think we've got to be calling her a great mare now, don't we? Caulfield Cups, Melbourne Cups, BMWs, wet, dry, it doesn't matter. She just wins anywhere, and she is right back.
And we heard from James McDonald, New Zealand as a young apprentice who had broke pretty much every record.
You just had a moment with your partner, Caitlin Mallion.
Yeah, wish COVID wasn't on, because obviously my parents would be here, but my brother, he'd be watching, and I just wish they were down. They're all over anyway. So.
It's been quite the journey. You pull up digs to come across to Australia and test yourself against the best in the biggest jockey pools, both in Sydney and Melbourne.
She's calm. She relaxed over 3,200 and showed a dazzling turn of foot. And like I said, since Saturday, there's not a 9-time Group 1 winner in that race. She was it, and I wouldn't have thought there was one horse in that race that would run third in a Cox Plate. So she was ready for it.
There's got to be a racing god.
I really want to win, but sometimes you can overthink it and over-try too hard, but very confident in the mare today.
When did you know you were going to win?
I tell you, not word of a lie, the thoughts went through my mind at the 500 when I seen Incentivise getting shoved along, but I knew he would fight. So, but I thought, geez, there's not a horse that's going to come from behind me. It was only a matter of catching him.
Do you want to hold the Melbourne Cup?
Oh.
Let's talk to the other half.
Tuesday's $8 million Lexus Melbourne Cup. Very Elegant ran 7th in the race last year, as we know. Rattled home, admittedly. She was a second outside the race record here. First mare to win the race since Maccabi Diva's treble, of course, in 03, 04 and 05. Her 10th Group 1 after being third in the Cox Plate. She's the first horse to win the Caulfield Cup one year and then the Melbourne Cup the next.
There you go. For me, this was the ride of the week. James, he got into a beautiful spot. I mean, he will go back. Of course, he won easily, and you could say, well, he could have probably done things point A to point B. Wouldn't change a thing in terms of tactically going forward. I thought Incentivise was massive, actually. The early pace was on a little bit. He had to do some early work, and he just kept finding. She's a classy mare. I'm trying to work out, Mike, how at $18 I haven't entertained her more strongly than I clearly should.
So I was sitting there 15 minutes out from the race and looking at Pondus, who I had a small share in. He was $21, and Very Elegant was the same price. And I'm thinking, Very Elegant's won 9 Group 1s. Pondus has won about $300,000. Yes, he's getting 4.5 kilos, but she was huge in the Melbourne Cup last year from an awkward gate. She settled so much closer to the lead. You know, when you saw Twilight Payment, 8 lengths clear of Very Elegant at about the 800 last year. This year, she was just joining in at the top of the straight, as we see here, and there's just no other horse who wanted to be on. She was absolutely bolting. How versatile is she? From 1,400 metres to 2 miles, wet or dry, Melbourne-Sydney direction, she's a Group 1 competitor.
To Incentivise and races on by, then Floating Artist, Spanish Mission, but Very Elegant at the 150. The darling of the turf has raced clear 3 lengths Incentivise, and it's Very Elegant, 10 Group 1s, and now the greatest of them all, the Melbourne Cup. Very Elegant wins by 3.5.
Yeah, she's an incredible she's got aerobic capacity that she possesses. I mean, a lot of horses get 1,400, Mike. A lot of them can get a mile. Some of them get 2,000, but not many can do what she does up to 3,200 metres. And
I remember Mark Zara, though, last year on this program saying she's just an awesome competitor. She hates losing. She doesn't like other horses. So you can put her in any race, in any conditions, and she'll be ultra competitive. And how about the news about Incentivise? You know, there was some post-race concerns that he might have injured himself, and to get the relief, or for the connections to get the relief that all's good with Incentivise, he just needs a bit of a holiday, and he'll be back, you know, better than ever in the autumn. So tick that box, fantastic.
And
tick that box, fantastic.
And Plaudit Stem as well. He was a big run. To run second, I thought, was an outstanding effort. He was no match for her that day, but next year when he's a bit bigger and stronger, look out.
Well, you haven't had a chance to speak about that.
What a mare. What a mare. 10 individual Group 1s. You know, some of these horses win the same one every year, but to do it individually was just amazing, and the way she won that. And the margin from that 4th horse to the 5th horse was just unbelievable, the way that field spread out. Champion. Absolute champion mare. Great training performance, beautiful ride. What else can you say that hasn't been said?
That's right. That's right.
Amazing. I remember we were sat here last Sunday, and we were talking about the Melbourne Cup field, and you kept saying maybe Very Elegant has been, you know, he's trained her because she's a bit more dour this time around, and he's trained her for a Melbourne Cup, and that's what you couldn't get out of your head.
Well, that's why, you know, Chris is such a, you know, he would have had since last year, she ran so well last year, and since, you know, he won't admit it. He say, I didn't know whether to scratch her or not, but I reckon once he stretched her workout, more so with having the Melbourne Cup, I'm just guessing this, it's just a theory I've got, he would have stretched her workout, training her like a Melbourne Cup, where the previous year he was training her like a Cox Plate horse.
Well, she was a Caulfield, that was her grand final as well, wasn't
exactly. So I think trained like a stayer, and she ran like she'd run 2 1/4 mile.
She was amazing.
The 1400 metres, Rio Yuki stood there, missed it 2 lengths. Raiduna goes back to the end with Burning Power. Espiona's got 4 behind her early. New York Baby will lead Ballinora's Star outside of her, and they're 2.5 Somewhat Fabulous. 4 further back, Romany Rocks, Ballinora. Then came Star of Chaos. Espiona's 7 or 8 off the lead. Back behind them, Frost Yourself and Burning Power, Stern Impulse, Vianello, Raiduna and Rio Yuki. New York Baby at the 400 metres and Star Waltz. They're 2 lengths in front of Somewhat Fabulous, Burning Power. Now Espiona brought to the outside, and she's charging home at the 250. New York Baby left vulnerable, grabbed by Espiona. McDonald has barely flinched here. Looks at the big screen. This is going to be a huge win. Espiona 4 lengths, 5 lengths, 6 lengths. Well, that's how you like to see favourites win. Espiona, she might be something else. Star of Chaos got second from Star Waltz, and then came in 4th place Burning Power, Vianello, then Somewhat and Frost Yourself.
3.5 length win on debut. You can double the margin at her second start. James McDonald just peeking at the inside TV screen here at Flemington for as long as he wanted, ambling his way to the line as Espiona trots away with the listed desirable stakes, and there's black type targets aplenty on her menu to come. $190,000 Magic Millions. He'd drawn level with Roy Higgins, Shane Dye and Craig Williams in the previous for 7 wins across the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Well, that victory there gets him word coming through that it's a 6.5 length victory. It was spectacular. What did you make of it?
Yeah, well, that was, it was an easy watch, wasn't it? But, no, she did a fantastic job. She thought she could be a little bit...
Well, it was probably looked as good as it felt anyway, I suppose, but she's a lovely filly. Taking her time, taking her time. She could have easily run as a 2-year-old, but they put her out and they've taken her time with her, and they're going to reap rewards. She's a very good horse, so I don't want to push buttons. She's been very well educated, and the world's going to be her oyster. It'll take some effort for a horse to beat a performance like that over the Cup week.
Hard question. Away from the 161st running of the Kennedy Oaks. Let's welcome in our race caller.
All right, folks, here we go. Some open form lines coming into this, and some unusual ones this year, will we?
Bounces off a maiden win in Sydney and wins the Group 2. Wakeful here on Saturday, and now she is your new favourite, taking over from Exclusive Express.
Different form into the race. I love the way she sprinted at the end of 2,000 metres and was so much stronger than her rivals, and I do like...
It's an attractive price, in my opinion. I think she's a filly by Deep Impact who's been crying out.
Of hope. I think the improvement I've seen since last start has been phenomenal. Very wintry and a bit rough in the coat. Looked really good.
Turnover. These numbers are the top. Number 2, Willowy, clearly the best back, holding more money. From Biscay Bane, the rally late, $6 earlier today, touched 420.
Biscayne Bay about 4th last out. Going to Dance a Lot jumped well with Tis My Bay, then Do Sir and Morissette sitting closer today. 2 further back, Willowy, and then Elusive Express. Next to Combe and Fabiola as they come towards the corner at the 700. It's the Bolter. Gonna Dance a Lot has really quickened and led from Do Sir, and now Morissette is trucking up 3 wide. Willowy has her back, and then Tis My Bay. Elusive Express behind those. Glint of Hope waited with. Then Daisies. Biscayne Bay's 3rd last, and then Blackcomb struggling into the straight in the Oaks at the 450. They've got to Gonna Dance a Lot. Do Sir's the first to strike, led Morissette. Willowy presents. Then Elusive Express getting into the clear with Daisies. Glint of Hope runs up behind them, then Biscay Bay. Do Sir still kicks at the 250. Willowy grinding her down. Do Sir about a length in front of Willowy. Then came a wall of them, but Do Sir, 100 to go. Willowy's 3/4. Do Sir a half. Willowy's going to have a go. Do Sir. Willowy dives. He's done it, Ollie. He's 7th Oaks. Willowy wins from Do Sir, 2nd. Photo 3rd. Biscayne Bay, Elusive Express, then Daisies. Next, Glint of Hope, Morissette, a gap, Tis My Bay. Fabiola, Gonna Dance a Lot, Blackcomb in a thriller.
The great Damien Oliver draws level with the great Bobby Lewis on 7, Kennedy Oaks. And he draws level with an all-time superstar in George Moore with his 126th Group 1 win. And once again, it's Damien Oliver linking arms with Godolphin at the top level during the Melbourne Cup Carnival.
He's 126 Group 1, drawing level with George Moore, and his 7th Oaks draws him level with Bobby Lewis. Supreme ride, supreme training performance with Willowy.
Yeah, amazing, wasn't it? Mike, I know you were a big fan of the ride as well.
I thought it was an exceptional ride. I don't think there's too many jockeys that would have lifted Willowy across the line. At the 200, I thought the...
Came to Melbourne, won the Wakeful, wins the Oaks, the 38th to complete the double, a magnificent effort.
And the Dam Dexterous, I think she's now the dam of 3 Group 1 winners from about 9 foals, so just a phenomenal blue hen mare.
Willowy's 3/4, Do Sir a half. Willowy's going to have a go. Do Sir, Willowy dives. He's done it, Ollie. He's 7th.
I asked Ollie whether he thought it was good that Willowy found a length. He questioned the margin. I think it was definitely a length to make up in that last 150 metres. It was an incredible ride.
It was a great ride, great response from the horse, and yeah, like we said, he does it so often, timing his run there, and good effort from Willowy. He's a bit untapped, I think. She still doesn't really know what.
To the Stakes Day Race 2, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, first run in 1979. It's a Group 3 worth $300,000 last year. True Self for Hugh Bowman and Willie Mullins. His 2nd straight victory in the race, defeating
Tricky little, but so a lot might go down to just who gets the best run.
Over the 6 runners in this field, and it wouldn't be at all a surprise.
Attitude. As I said, it's been an entire campaign since I've seen him step.
A race like this, small field, plenty of chances. Warning still just continuing to drift a little bit at the top of the market there. Dr. Drill has been well supported, $4 now.
Rock a flare as Warning is just going to steadily pick up the pace as they reach the 800 metres. It's Warning by a length and a quarter. 2nd is He's a Shocker, and Curry just about to niggle, and that fraction was certainly quicker. Sound next the inner. Wentwood just peels out 3 wide. Dr. Drill's about 4 off the lead, and Luna Flare is last. Up around the turn at the 500 metres. The leader is Warning, and the field of 6 steadily work off the fence. It leads by a length to Sound into the clear. Then Wentwood presenting. He's a Shocker drops away. Dr. Drill down the outside, and Luna Flare is tacked on. 300 to go. Warning about to be joined by Sound. Wentwood makes a line of 3, and the race is on. A length Dr. Drill. 200 to go. Warning finds reserves. Wentwood chases hard. Sound lifting the middle, then Dr. Drill still warning, 100 metres to go. Still a length in front of Sound Wentwood, and Warning punched out by Rawilla wins the Queen Elizabeth. Warning from Sound Wentwood, Dr. Drill. A gap Lunar Flare, and last of the 6 was He's a Shocker.
2 for 2 for Nash Rawilla with Warning straight to the front. First out, first home. 1, 2, 5 and 3 the numbers in the Queen Elizabeth, despite the fact we were in the field over 2,600 metres, and it was Warning going back-to-back after winning the ATC St Ledger in Sydney. And Simo, Nash Rawilla's 2 for 2 on him. You think he's the key?
I do think he's the key. I had a chat with John O'Neill on Derby Day, and he was telling me about the instructions to Nash when it won the St Ledger at its last start up in Sydney, were to ride this horse a little bit more positively in the early stages. You know, previously in his career, he's been more of a sort of a get-back, run-on type of them. And he's sitting in behind the saddle here, Cuz. What the difference between, you know, forward of the saddle and behind the saddle for a horse like Warning? What difference does that make?
I don't think there's much difference for me personally, but I know.
Time for the group.
For me personally, but I know.
Time for the Group 2 Matriarch Stakes, and Nimmerley is your favourite. Was only 1 and a bit lengths off Colette in the Empire Rose, and the market really likes the look of that. Within the last 10 minutes, a really strong push into $4.40. So this horse did just tick out to around the $6 mark, really well backed into $4.40 now.
And she's got a great finish on her. I think she'll power late. I think only
Real number 3 and the other being Zaydani, number 8. I'm hoping they're both ready.
And our intrigue, she just caught my eye the minute she wandered into the yard.
Race. Nimmerley has now drifted back out to that opening quote after a really, really strong market push about 10 minutes ago. So plenty of money going elsewhere here. Mimi's Award has drifted back out $7.50 to $9, but is currently our best backed runner by a small margin from Nimmerley. So the price is pushing out.
Mimi's Award around those 3 wide with Zaydani the fence. Nimmerley second last, and Barbie's Fox whipped them in. 800 to go. It's the grey Ecumenical in front by a neck to Maha Shakti. Lelude third from Princess Jenny. Out 3 wide in 5th place is Godaline as they approach the corner. Then came Star Rel, who tracks her. Vanna Girl the fence in between horses. Charm Star, a length Bonvicini sticking to the fence. From Our Intrigue, Mimi's Award, and well back. Nimmerley's last to straighten. Barbie's Fox and Zaydani back with her. 450 out. It's Ecumenical brought to the middle of the track. From Lelude as they queue up. Vanna Girl and Bonvicini over on the far side. Our Intrigue is getting through. Zaydani up on the fence. Godaline and Star Rel down the outside from Nimmerley. Plenty of hopes here as they reach the 200. It's Our Intrigue with Zaydani, Bonvicini, then Vanna Girl and Star Rel late. Our Intrigue and Zaydani. Our Intrigue and Zaydani. Stride for stride. Zaydani just in front as she won. Zaydani from Our Intrigue. Star Rel third, I'd say, from Bonvicini, Nimmerley and Vanna Girl. It was a terrific race. Then came Ecumenical, Godaline from Lelude, Mimi's Award, Barbie's Fox. Well back Charm Star, Princess Jenny and Maha.
Special moment for Ben and JD Hayes. They've spent so much time in and around Flemington. Their family's operation just over the fence there.
Gee, I thought the runner-up, James McDonald, could not have given her a better ride. She presented, I mean, normally she's got out now inside the 300. She put a length or so on them, and you think it's all over Red Rover, but just peaked on her run a little bit, and a great ride. We've given James plenty of plaudits, but this was an absolute peach from
Zaydani didn't go around a horse all race.
Did not go around a horse.
Got gifted the rails
and it's made the difference.
It has made the difference, and Luke had the courage to go there, whereas at the start of the day, everyone was...
He is Nature Strip.
Seriously fast and supremely talented.
Nature Strip clings on. He's king of the mountain this time.
A winner of 18 races from 33 starts, 6 at Group 1 level.
That September runs flying, but Nature Strip is going to do it.
A conqueror of the 2019 edition of this race.
Nature Strip with a devastating performance of the Classic.
Does anything happen?
Well, but I'll tell you what, the Everest winner looks well priced to the competition here. Punters really diving in, holding 8 times the turnover as any other horse at the moment. Bella Nipotina showed you...
Classic. He doesn't need any introduction. He's on his day. They can't go with him. And if he turns up in that vein of form and he looks nice and relaxed today, then he may well do that. He's been awesome.
Nature Strip 2 years ago. Can they make it 3?
I would think so. It's whether or not you want to take a
win today. But it's great to see him here at Flemington.
Look, he may not have to race up to his best to beat this field, but Nature Strip certainly looking at his best.
Less, that $1.30 price has been knocked off into $1.06, onto $1.26. Such is the support for Nature Strip at the moment. The big syndicates happy to get involved with this horse at whatever price, considering the competition here. Bella Nipotina.
And racing now, Bella Nipotina away cleanly with Splintex. Nature's Dad and Streets of Avalon is on its Pat Malone at the 750 on the flat side rail. So the leader is Nature Strip, contained speed by a length. September Run, Splintex, and then Ranchan, Samizdat, Bella Nipotina. Further back, Shaquiro swats that, and Streets of Avalon on its own over on the far side. 400 metres to go. Nature Strip all coiled up, led by 3/4 of a length to September Run, and they dash clear from Bella Nipotina. Here's the moment. Nature Strip now given his head at the 200 metres, and he blasts away. 3 lengths, September Run, Bella Nipotina swats that, and it's all Nature Strip who explodes away. He's going to do it again. Conquers another mountain. His second Darley Classic, won at 2.5. Swats that. Photo third. Bella Nipotina or September Run, and then Ranch and Shaquiro. Well back in the field, Splintex, Streets of Avalon, and Samizdat was last.
It's the coronation, then it's the celebration. Everyone on course to a man gets what they came to see. Nature Strip in full flight, and James McDonald draws level with his childhood hero, Brett Preble, winning 9 races across a Melbourne Cup Carnival. An electric performance from Nature Strip. The clock's got him, as it stands right now, going 108.78. And after James McDonald cleared out on Very Elegant on Tuesday, the distance was shorter, the margin was similar. A breathtaking performance from the world's best sprinter, and the Everest for the 5th straight year is the pointer to the winner of the Darley Sprint Classic. What a moment for the Corstons.
All over. He just explodes. He's just such a professional horse now. I think this preparation is the best I've ever seen him settle, and like horses were...
Won the race 2 years ago by 3 1/4 lengths, was second to Bivouac by that margin last year, but yesterday was the culmination, I think, of Nature Strip's career. His 7th Group 1. Yes, there was questionable depth in the race. 3 stablemates, 2 of them 3-year-olds behind him, but you can only beat what turns up, and beat them he did.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, some good ones had to turn up yesterday, would have beaten them as well. I think this was his 4th run of the prep, but it was nearly one of his best as well. And what I liked about it was that he was strong through the latter part of the race, and he's been an incredible straight horse. Even when he was wayward, he always was...
like his preparation, his 4 starts this year, he could easily have been undefeated. What lies ahead, I mean, this horse could be just... Yeah, he was in beast mode yesterday. If they take him overseas next year and he's up the straight at Ascot and he's racing in a similar vein and retains his form and doesn't have any issues, you know, he's got to be the best sprinter in the world on current form.
Go. Nature Strip all coiled up, led by 3/4 of a length to September Run, and they dash clear from Bella Nipotina. Here's the moment. Nature Strip now given his head at the 200 metres, and he blasts away. 3 lengths, September Run, Bella Nipotina swats that, and it's all Nature Strip who explodes away. He's going to do it again. Conquers another mountain. His second Darley Classic, won at 2.5. Swats that. Photo third.
Yeah, he was $1.30. Yeah, we thought he was going to win. But again, you hear the crowd there, like they were there for the spectacle, and he gave them what they were hoping to see.
They came to see Nature Strip do exactly that, and based on his form leading into the race, that was exactly how the race should have panned out. I think this race has been impacted by the Classique Legend, though. If you look at the horses coming through the Everest, there's only one in Nature Strip that made the trip down to Melbourne, yet you had Eduardo, Masked Crusader, Lost and Running, that all decided to back up a couple of weeks later.
Was it a mistake,
I would have thought you could see horses like Bella Nipotina and Swats That running in a Sangster next season before they go off to start. That's their race.
Today, the Paramount Plus McKinnon Stakes, Group 1 weight for age 2,000 metres, $2 million, been moved to the final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival since 2016 last year. Arcadia Queen for Luke Curry, Grant and Alana is in touching distance of a record 10th win during the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Zaki scratched his Cox Plate favourite on race morning due to an elevated temperature. He was 3rd in the Might and Power. He'd won 5 in a row prior, including the Doomben Cup and the Underwood.
Yeah, well, if he brings the form from the Doomben Cup, it would be very hard to beat here today. I'd personally just had a little query around his form since he's been in Victoria. He's also...
was when Mo'unga was 4th in the Cox Plate, 3 lengths off subsequent Melbourne Cup winner Very Elegant. He was 5th in the Epsomer's top weight, won the Winx 2nd in the Maccabi Diva here.
All of his runs this campaign have been outstanding. Yeah, there was a lot of merit.
She's on the back up. She's absolutely flying at the moment, provided last week's...
Winning a Group 1 in 2020. Hutchison, your top 4.
I like Colette. I think she's a nice price as well. Just with a couple of little...
Beyond Zaki at the short odds. I think there's just a little less risk involved, a little less unknown about...
Into the yard on the back up. She was casual, she was laid back.
Cup day with Very Elegant, and the traders don't want to move this price in too far on Zaki, although it is holding a behemoth of money right now, a real liability for us on the books. Mo'unga really well supported over the last 10 minutes as well. $9 into $6. Started to rain a little. Colette.
Superstorm goes back to the end. Ki Nautique lethargic away second last. Delisand Homesman out quickly with Zaki pushing forward deeper. Mo'unga next, and then Cascadian, Colette, Ki Nautique, Hungry Heart, Superstorm, and last of all Private Eye. Zaki sliding up, led Homesman, who'll eventually let the favourite go. Delisand, Private Eye whipped them in at Chiquita Lodge at the 1200 metres. No pressure on Zaki, as he likes by a length and a quarter. In second is Homesman. Delisand is third, 2 lengths Cascadian through halfway up the 1,000. Mo'unga, Private Eye, 800 metres to go. Zaki in front, still no pressure up front from Homesman, who gets a bit closer now. A length and a quarter, Delisand, Mo'unga. Colette now about to ease out. Cascadian the fence from Ki Nautique, Hungry Heart, Superstorm and Private Eye. They come around the turn at the 500 metres. McDonald hasn't moved yet. Zaki kick clear, 2 lengths, 3 lengths Homesman, then Delisand, Mo'unga, back behind them Cascadian, Colette, Hungry Heart to the outside, but now Zaki lets rip, and at the 250 he's 4 in front of Cascadian, then Mo'unga and Homesman. Zaki the leader at the 100 metres, he's well clear, he's 2.5 Cascadian, Zaki holding on, Zaki won the McKinnon, won it by a length Cascadian, third Mo'unga, and they were followed by Ki Nautique, and next Private Eye, Superstorm, Hungry Heart, Homesman, Colette. At the tail of the field, Delisand, James McDonald take a bow. 10 wins over Cup Week.
It's been a week of special moments here at Flemington, and we get to the peak of them, and it just had to be that as Zaki crossed the line for James McDonald, giving him his 10th and a new record. The man he replaces, his childhood hero, Brett Preble, was aboard Cascadian running into second, and they link arms much in the way that they did when they quinelled a Melbourne Cup with Green Moon and Fiorente back in 2012. The torch is passed in a couple of senses. We've been spoilt this week. We've been spoilt in the last hour. Nature Strip breathtaking before, and Zaki, after disappointingly, of course, missing the opportunity to win a Cox Plate, wins a McKinnon. And it's been a week.
Tempo, I think, but you know, James. I thought James won it early. He got ahead of Homesman.
So he
had control of the race. Then he could ramp it up when he wanted to. And he's obviously a horse that can get keen, but fantastic ride, wasn't it? And I think Annabelle Neesham is a great story to come from the week. We mentioned it yesterday. You know, she's been training less than 2 years. And what she's done in that short period of time.
To say, you know, we'll just pull up stumps and we'll come back in the autumn. She had the courage to say, no, the horse's bloods are fine. The horse is pleasing me. I like the way it's headed. Obviously, there's some VRC directors that are in the ownership. That was probably part of an influence as well, but just...
As a rank outsider and a Doncaster back in April, he's cut a swathe. 6 Australian wins, Group 1 Doomben Cup, Underwood and McKinnon. He was scratched from the Cox Plate, as we mentioned. It was 4 weeks between runs, Hutch. But he was superbly presented by Annabelle Neesham. And as you mentioned prior to the break, James McDonald was able to roll and control the tempo as he liked. And
I went slower, and then he ramped it up. What's a bit disappointing in terms of the overall performance of the race for me, just looking at the sectionals, is it hasn't rated that well, which it might not off the raw times, but even his last 800 wasn't great. But look, he won it well. He's beaten a lot of horses in good form with Group 1 form around them.
2 lengths, 3 lengths Homesman, then Delisand, Mo'unga, back behind them Cascadian, Colette, Hungry Heart to the outside, but now Zaki lets rip, and at the 250 he's 4 in front of Cascadian, then Mo'unga and Homesman. Zaki the leader at the 100 metres, he's well clear, he's 2.5 Cascadian, Zaki holding on, Zaki won the McKinnon, won it by a length Cascadian. third Mawunga, and they were followed by...
It's really noticeable for me watching and listening back to the race. Both times yesterday, Hutch on course, when Nature Strip and Zaki established their break on their respective fields, the crowd involvement and the crowd interaction, because they were basically the two horses most people on course had come to see yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah, it was great. I mean, I was fortunate enough during the week to
the large owners that are already supported.
Kind of feel what's happened through the spring. We haven't seen Zaki very elegant and incentivised in the one spot yet in the one race, and God, I hope it happens come the autumn that we might see them get together for maybe not an Australian Cup. That might come a little bit quickly, but
Over
potentially at Queen Elizabeth, 2,000 metres. I'd love to see the three of them be going head to head.
Firm track, wet track.
Well, it was hard enough working out what the weather was this week, mate. I'm not going to give you Sydney.
It doesn't really matter for any of them, does it? They all seem to get through it pretty well.
Very elegant. Kiwis will rise to the top.
Yeah, I've heard that this week.
Another $1 million race coming up. Rosehill Gardens, race 7, the English Rural Property Golden Gift, 1,100 metres for the 2-year-olds. 2 scratchings, 10 to run, and this mounting yard is brought to you.
They're racing. There's a good line out. Charlatan was one of the first out of the gate. So Jardim will go back to second last. Cannonball showing great muster and is going to speed to the lead. Mount Brilliant quickly across on the outside. Then Snitcat pushing through on the inside of Ohio. They're followed further back then by Bird on a Wing from Charlatan, and right there is Contemporary as well. So Charlatan, who jumped well, is now caught wide. Further back to Nobel from Sajardin, and Shirkat pushing through. Then came Ohio from Contemporary. Bird on a Wing, Charlatan. Further back then to Sajardin, getting to the outside. Nobel between runners. Cannonball at the 300 metres. 2 lengths in front of Snitcat, then Mount Brilliant. Charlatan's making good ground towards the inside, and Sajardin's winding up on the outside. It's Cannonball 2 lengths clear from Sajardin the outside. Charlatan through the middle, but Sajardin on the outside. Charlatan through the middle. Sajardin went home best to win the Golden Gift. Sajardin beat Charlatan, and a third Ohio, I'd say, in front of Cannonball. Then came Snitcat from Contemporary, Sherbo late from Nobel, Mount Brilliant weakened out, and Bird on a Wing.
Well, if you're not excited by that, you're not excited by much. That was a stunning race with 2 outstanding colts and a really good filly in between them. And have we got something to think about when we work towards that Golden Slipper $5 million race next March? Oh, Sir Jardim, this was some sort of a run. Jason Collins had one of those days, 4 minor placings. He's not thinking about that now, Katie. How good was this? But how good was Charlatan as well, and Jenny Duggan? Katie, it was just one of the most...
104.06, home in 35.12. The class record for 2-year-olds over 1,100 is held by the freakish Amelia's Dream at 62.9, so they were outside that. We'll come...
Jockeys.
2-year-olds, $1 million. First and second prize money gets you into the Golden Slipper. As Ronnie said, a race now worth $5 million, plus bonuses of $1 million along the way. They're yet to be announced. So Sir Jardim, the Breeders' Plate winner, beats Charlatan.
Yep, and well done, Gary. He's plotted the path, which you have to do for these big races. And after winning the Breeders' Plate, 5 weeks between runs, a beautiful track gallop. He's obviously had the right product to work with, and they didn't fall for the trap of, you know, panicking, drawing the wide barrier. They just said, well, he delivered riding him quiet at his first start, and that's exactly what they did here. And yeah, he can go the paddock now, and Gary can train him like a Golden Slipper horse. Where this second horse, I'm convinced he's the real deal. You know, you might say, oh, this mightn't be a strong race. We won't know, but all I know is he's a very good colt, Charlatan. He just doesn't know what it's all about. He's looking at the horses around him.
To what I'm saying about him, but Charlatan is the one that's got a lot of substance, and you don't know where the ceiling is with him, because I think as a 3-year-old he's
yet to work that one out.
So there's the
26 and Fashion Isle is a $41 chance. As a result of the Golden Gift, both first and second there in Sir Jardim, and also...
They still haven't moved up here for the Hot Danish.
Yeah, I'm favourite back into 350 Rocker Clock after it got to as much as 3...
Spiranak last out. Electric Girl was first out. Fashionel goes across from the outside and will park up in second, followed by Way 3 lengths to Electric Girl. Then Tricky Gala clear third from Wonderbar, Madame Rouge, then Spiranak, and now Rocker Clock just being nudged along by Clark as they come up to the home turn. Fashionel turns narrowly in front now to Electric Girl, Tricky Gal, then Madame Rouge. Wonderbar back to the inside and Rocker Clock coming off heels, nudged to the outside. They're right across the track now. Electric Girl hits a narrow lead from Madame Rouge. Tricky Gal's one pace. Rocker Clock needs to lift. Up the inside is Wonderbar. Electric Girl, Madame Rouge, Rocker Clock, but Electric Girl's kicking strongly, and Electric Girl won the Hot Danish. A half length on the way to Rocker Clock. Madame Rouge third, then Tricky Gal, Wonderbar. Fashionel, Yamazaki next, followed by Spiranak, the Nudge, and a long last was Polly Gray.
Number 9, Electric Girl, has got the Group 2. Hot Danish for Jay Ford and the Hawks team. Number 9.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, this is the big one of the day, the Hunter, 1,300 metres, and it's worth $1 million, the third running of this event. And our mounting out is brought to you by Harvey Norman. And running, trained by John O'Shea, Hugh Bowman in the saddle, fourth in the Everest, second in the Classic Legend behind Eduardo.
And surely that's the right form. He's got the right credentials with all those Everest form lines setting up well. Speed horse drawn wide, usually gets a tick from me. Surely Bowman's...
You can see him walking down. Number 2, the Grey. This is the import for Annabelle Neesham. James McDonald has the ride, top ranked.
Yeah, I can't wait for Lizzie to have a good look at him.
For their grand finals today, I'm happy to go with Lost and Running on top. I think that he's, in my opinion, looks the best he's looked all preparation. He's just maintained his condition. I wouldn't race. Mighty impressed by Top Ranked. He looks as though he's in for a great career here down under. If I was to pop anything else in, stand out.
Stand by. We're ready. And the gates are back. They're off and racing, and Prime Candidate clearly got the best of the start from Gem Song, and Special Award is right there. And Bowman's coming across on the favourite, Lost and Running, going to fourth. In front of Standout, and Bandersnatch is right there. Back last. Prime Candidate holds the front by a half length here on Special Award, and Lost and Running gets to third. Only a length and a half off the leader. Out deeper there is Sweet Deal from Bandersnatch. Further back to Gem Song. Top Ranked is tracking up with cover, coming to the turn on the outside of Standout. Then Wonderbar. Dawn Passage being shoved along as they straighten up now, and Special Award slipped up on the inside, racing to a narrow lead from Prime Candidate, is trying to come back. A length off to Lost and Running. Bowman starting to wind him up. A length further back to Sweet Deal. Top Ranked is one pace, and Wonderbar went past, but Bowman goes for home here on Lost and Running. 2 lengths clear. Wonderbar's the only danger. Lost and Running a length and a half to Wonderbar. Then Top Ranked, and Lost and Running, too classy, wins the Hunter by a length and a half. Wonderbar second, Top Ranked third. Commentary late from Sonore Fox up the inside. Further back to Count of Monte Cristo from Standout, Bandersnatch. Stockman heading the line well late. Then Canberra Heron from Gem Song. Prime Candidate got tired from Sweet Deal, and Dawn Passage.
We've just watched a very, very good horse win the $1 million, the Hunter. That's why he got picked in an Everest. That's why he was runner-up behind Eduardo in a Classic Legend. And here he is winning the Hunter. This is what this race was designed to do, to attract the best. And he is the best today. Lost and Running, far, far too good for them. He was dominant.
Oh, was he? What? Just when I thought he was vulnerable down the straight when they were all coming at him, he just showed a really good quality, and John's got a lovely foundation for him for the autumn now.
It was all designed to try and win an Everest with this horse, but when did this race come on the radar? Was it just the best horse to have contested the Hunter so far, Lost and Running? So it was appropriate that he was the third winner of the Hunter. Coming out of it, though, we might find that Top Ranked is equally as good with more racing here in Australia, but there's a lot to take out of this race.
Yeah, he just kept him balanced, Bowman. I thought he got across, but when you look at the steward's vision, he was probably wide, no cover the whole race. So he showed his dominance. I love the way he dug in here. I thought a couple were going to come and get him at different stages, but he ran right through the line at the 1,300. It gives him he did have the 59 kilos, so he was so dominant. Obviously, we keep talking about this Tab Everest form, but it's just stood right up all the way through. it gives him, look, top ranked. I think he's a pretty good horse.
Very smart, yeah. Looked like he's got something about him. He's got a bit of the X factor. We were just talking before we came to air, and his form is just out of this world. He won his, I think it's his first 4. I think I'm shortchanging him for a few. I think it's his first 6 starts that he won, and then he's run really credibly in some of the best weight for age mile races. Well, he ran 3rd behind Palace Pier in the Lockinge, and he's a top weight for age performer who's now been retired. So, look, he's a very, very good horse. Can't wait to see him next year when he gets into Annabelle's system and see what she targets him at. But she looks like she's cooking with.
In the yard for the big one of the day. It's a $1 million race. The Tab Gong over 1,600 metres. I Am Superman, the late scratching due to a downgrade of the track. We've had plenty. McDonald takes over. Golden Eagle, Brock Ryan. He's going for a treble today. He's trained by the father and son combination here on the track of Robert and Luke Price.
Yeah, look, he got out at big odds, 650 later in the morning. I think most of us were opposing him because of how short they went up with him.
Dollars about pay the dealer. 10 for limbering. Straw on the inside.
$1 million the Tab Gong. Last year it was taken out by Archidemus, who's back for another tilt.
Yeah, he's back, and quite a few.
Rich Hips might be the one that's also over the odds here, Bruce, but it's interesting that Lizzie's gone for a Yamazaki at around 30 to 1, as well as the...
Racing in the Gong, and Rich Hips blew the start out to back, and Quackerjack jumped well. Together with Blue Soldier, Dawn Passage pretty handy. They're followed by Soldier of Love, moving up together with Archidemus out deep, and Counter Rupee's being bustled along and gets right on the back of the speed. Brock Ryan's got a great spot there on Counter Rupee. Dawn Passage, 2 further back to Yamazaki on the inside of Counter Rupee, being tracked along by the other favourite of Tissue, who races on the outside of the Grey Bird of Beck. Further back to Nudge, then Reloaded, Exo Boom, Arameo, Creaderis, and Rich Hips is last. They've got 600 metres to run in the Gong, and Archidemus extends the lead. He's trotting along in the lead by 2.5. Quackerjack looks gone already. Then Soldier of Love, Dawn Passage pulling out, Counter Rupee's pulling out, Blue Soldier in traffic as they flatten for the run home, and Archidemus is several lengths clear from Dawn Passage giving chase. It's shades of last year. Archidemus from Dawn Passage, but Counter Rupee is descending on them quickly, and Counter Rupee takes the lead now in the Gong of the 150. Nudge is running home to second, and then came Yamazaki, but it's a local victory. Counter Rupee for Brock Ryan, won it by 2 lengths to Nudge. Yamazaki 3rd, Berdebeck 4th, followed by Exo Boom, Blue Soldier, Archidemus, Arameo, then Creaderis from Reloaded. No pickup from a Tissue, from Soldier of Love. Dawn Passage stopped quickly, and a big gap back to Rich Hips and Quackerjack.
Well, the fairy tale's complete. Have a look at Robert Price there, Luke Price. The atmosphere was electrifying, Caitlin, before the race. It's going to be so emotional when they come back. This is the grand final for any Kembla Grange trainer from this point on. It was a...
In his own ability, this young man, and he probably deserved a better fate in the Golden Eagle, but he brings it home to the Gong here, and he deserves...
Called Counter Rupee, who was runner-up in the Golden Eagle, and yesterday he appeared at his home track of Kembla Grange with the local boy on board for the local trainers, and he delivered not just a win, but, Ronnie, a very dominant win.
He was, and you could nearly call him the winner the whole way once. And I think Brock just from here he thought, no, I don't want to get to the front too soon. The Golden Eagle was in his mind, he was left stranded there. From here, and look at him here, he's saying, I've got him, I don't want to get there now, and then he goes. But that's inside the 200, and was never really in doubt. He's a really good horse, and now they're cooking with gas. Where some of us were doubting him, well, not doubting him, he's just wanting him to prove himself at a mile, and he did that.
Ready and racing. pretty good line. Savannah Cloud jumped away well. Brazen Brando's going out with Harlem Blues to the back of the field. South Parade, Marabi zips through, and the favourite led from Magna Jet, South Parade, Savannah Cloud. Then came Haystacks, well back Barragunda, Harlem Blues as well back, No Quarantine, and Brazen Brando. Marabi led as they reached the 600 marker from Magna Jet, and South Parade in the middle of the course. A length and a half, Proper Rogue, Savannah Cloud. Then Haystacks, Calhoun. Beyond midfield, Litchfield County, Imperial, Hilton, Brazen Brando, Barragunda, El Burke. Then Harlem Blues and No Quarantine, but it's Marabi at a high cruising speed at the 250, given her head, and she's 3 lengths in front of Magna Jet. Proper Rogue, Savannah Cloud, South Parade, and then Barragunda. Look at Marabi go at the 100. She's 5 in front, maybe even 6. 4 from 4. A star there in the making. Marabi trotted in. Savannah Cloud second, Proper Rogue third, Magna Jet next. Then came No Quarantine, Barragunda. Long last was Harlem Blues.
Dave, we knew she was good. Did you know she was that good?
No, not really. That was pretty impressive. To be honest, we're just a little bit concerned leading into the run. She's probably been slightly less. Yeah, you don't expect, a horse to do that in any race, but she was very impressive.
Was there any temptation to get her back a little bit earlier and maybe target some stakes races during the spring?
Not really, no. She's always taken quite a long time just to get fit. She's a burly filly, takes plenty of work, and Greg Perry, your breeder, will be absolutely delighted, and thanks to him, he's not in any rush either, so we've been patient. Team have done a...
Race 6 is the Sandown Guineas, and the favourite for the boys is Festival Dancer. Really well supported too, the filly from New South Wales. Look, she's been up a long time, but she just continues to raise the bar. Fast run races, slow run races, no issue at all. Dry and soft, it's going to be the dry track.
He's Group 2 worth $300,000 over the mile. Hutch, your top 4.
Yeah, it's an interesting race. I mean, the knock for me with Festival Dancer was, while she's been in great form...
It's a positive sign. Conversely, Cardinal Gem, that $5.50 out to $6. If you like that horse, I think you're going to get a better price.
And they're racing. Port Louis missed the start, 3/4 of a length, and Blushing Tycoon towards the outside, ridden for speed. Blue Army jumped well with Festival Dancer and also Mr. Me, making a line of 3. Blushing Tycoon is deeper on the track, and they were followed by Yaffet and Reigate along the rails as they Reigate the inside as they chop and change, and further back is Yaffet. A length and a half, Cardinal Gem, and then came General Firepower, 2 lengths to Chartres at the end with Port Louis. 650 metres to run. It's Festival Dancer just in front of Blazero. Blushing Tycoon took the trail, a length and a half away third from Blue Army, and then came along the inside Reigate. Next Mr. Me, and they kick clear, 3 lengths to Yaffet, then General Firepower. Cardinal Gem's a fair way back third last with Port Louis and Chartres. Up around the home corner, it's Festival Dancer with Blazero the outside, throwing down the gauntlet. Blue Army gets up on the outside as well as they reach the 250. A good race in prospect. We're on the outside, moving up. Blazero is grabbed by Blue Army. Blazero and Blue Army. Blue Army gets its head in front of Blazero. Blue Army a neck, and Blue Army has beaten Blazero. Festival Dancer, Reigate for 4th, followed by Cardinal Gem. Next Port Louis, Chartres. Then came General Firepower. Behind them, Yaffet, Blushing Tycoon, and dropping away the bolter, Mr. Me, finished last.
Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. raised the bar with Blue Army at just his 3rd career start, and the son of Savabeel has matched it and jumped it. He won as an odds-on favourite at Warrnambool back 3 weeks ago, defeating Typhoon Moon over 14. Well, into the mounting yard, first runner for us to look at is Spanish Mission. His first run for Peter Moody. Glenn Boss's final ride as a jockey. Spanish Mission's had 2 2,400-metre starts. They were in August and September 2019. 3rd in the Gordon Stakes at Goodwood, splitting Constantinople before he ran 4th in a Caulfield Cup and Floating Artist, and then won the Jockey Club Derby Invitational at Belmont, which was a race won this year.
Class horse, comes out of a very high rating Melbourne Cup. just depends how he sort of come out of that. He can race below that performance and still win, but by all
field for this year's Herald Sun Zipping Classic, $750,000 on the line, moved into the late November time slot. There is Glenn Boss, leg to boards.
Popular win on many fronts, but the crowd just getting behind Bossy there as he gets the goggles on, goes into the
tempo in the Melbourne Cup. That's kind of what we wanted to see from him. Clearly, the standout second leg on look was Warning.
45, but I don't think you're going to get twos on about this horse. Market's expecting him to win, just has to bring that Melbourne Cup form. We know that's outstanding form for a race like this, the Zipping Classic. Warning, no knock from a market perspective.
Here with the final ride of champion jockey Glenn Boss, 90 Group 1s. Approximate ready, and away they go. Silent Sovereign from barrier number 3 jumped away with them. Spanish Mission out well. Boss looks to the left, looks to the right. He can see Dr. Drill, Wentwood. Warning, no one really wanting to take it up. Warning by default led them with Wentwood, Dr. Drill, and then Spanish Mission behind them as they go to the judge. Then came Silence and Flash R is at the end of the field. Absolute dawdle here in the Zipping Classic as they reach the top of the hill. At the 12, they head to the railway side, 1,000 to go. Front runner is Wentwood for Damien Lanes. Had a dream in front by 3/4 of a length to Dr. Drill. Warning box seating third, just needs an inch of luck. And Spanish Mission fourth, one off the fence. Boss yet to pull the trigger. Next along the inside is Sound, and then came Silent Sovereign. Luna Flare, Skelm, and 2 further back is Flash R. Wentwood with no change at the 600 metres, leading Dr. Drill. Now Spanish Mission peels out 3 wide. Warning tucked away behind those. Next in the field, Sound extricating off the fence. Silent Sovereign around it from Luna Flare. And next, Flash R and Skelm. Wentwood, Dr. Drill. Here's Spanish Mission about to make a line of 3 around the corner as they sprint up. 300 metres to go. It's Dr. Drill and Wentwood. Spanish Mission a length and a half away. Just needs to find, wants to lug in. Then Sound and Silent Sovereign. Dr. Drill looking to upset the party at the 200 metres. Sound is a threat. Dr. Drill led by a length. Now Sound coming out after it. Dr. Drill joined by Sound, and Sound over the top won it from Dr. Drill. 3-way go for third. Wentwood, Skelm or Spanish Mission. The dream men not to be for Glenn Boss, but we salute you. Then Luna Flare. Next to finish, Warning, Flash R and Silent Sovereign.
Well, not the finish to Glenn Boss's career we were perhaps all anticipating. His Spanish Mission is beaten into fourth, but what a performance from the 9-year-old Sound, who goes back-to-back in the Zipping Classic, emulating the feats of the Taj Mahal and half of what the great Zipping did in winning this race on 4 occasions. They were a long, long, long way off Diatribe's track record in a Caulfield Cup some 20 years ago. The best part of 7 in a Caulfield Cup some 20 years ago. The best part of 7 seconds outside of it. It was a treacle
in the mounting yard. I've landed on the 4, Age of Chivalry on top, but there's really nothing between him. Streets of Avalon.
Superman is significant. Now into $3, so probably $3.30, $3.20, and now really heavily into $3. So it's a really good sign for this horse third up. Market thinks it's ready to run a peak run. Streets of Avalon's been
racing now. Streets of Avalon from barrier number 1 beat them out. From Rania, Age of Chivalry, Crosshaven, and I Am Superman's also probing up to get to 4th. Rania 5th, then Rio at Streets of Avalon by 3/4 of a length. Second is Crosshaven. They were followed by Age of Chivalry. A gap to I Am Superman, spotting the lead 5 from Rania, and then Riddle Me That. Next in the field is Cinnamon, Mask of Time, Camborne, and Surprise Baby. Coming up towards the home corner at the 450 at Streets of Avalon. Spain about to niggle as Crosshaven now moves up on its outside and eyeballs it. 2.5, Age of Chivalry shown the persuader. I Am Superman to the outside from Rania. Cinnamon, Riddle Me That, Camborne. Crosshaven at the 250. Streets of Avalon fights back, and I Am Superman now the final favourite joining in. And Cinnamon down the centre. I Am Superman up to Streets of Avalon. Cinnamon's a closer. I Am Superman and Cinnamon. Cinnamon over the top. Cinnamon got up to beat I Am Superman, Streets of Avalon. And for 4th looks to be Camborne from Crosshaven and Age of Chivalry, and then Rania. Next to finish, Riddle Me That, Surprise Baby, and Mask of Time.
Well, if you took the cues from Brad Taylor, the representative for Anthony and Sam Freedman, when he was on before the first at the start of our coverage today, he said Cinnamon was their best at his second Australian start. He's duly delivered. They applied the tongue tie to say the least. So Sinuan grabs the Group 3 Kevin Heffernan. I'm Superman presented the favourite.
Not a good day, but no, it doesn't hold any fears. She ran right through the line there the other day in the 1500. So.
In the yard for the Heineken 3 Group 1 Railway Stakes. Down the minutes now to the Heineken 3 Railway Stakes. Horses beginning to enter the yard, and Scott, $1.
In fact, in the history of the Railway Stakes, there's never been one this short as Western Empire today. And that man, well...
I could watch him all day long, Britt. He is the real deal, this horse. He's won 6 in a line. Since he finally broke his maiden at his 5th career start, he's won everything since. The Lex Piper at a mile, the JC Roberts at 1800, the Melvista at 2000, the Derby at 2400, first up, the Asian Bow at 14, now to a handicap mile. He is the star of WA racing at the moment, Western Empire.
Set, ready to go, and racing as well. And the first to get going, Dance Music. Massimo left the gates cleanly. Pike had Western Empire up there in the first 4 early on as the speed slows. Too close, the sun pushing up underneath of the favour. Outside of those, Comfort. Down the riverside, 950 metres out the leader, Massimo. Led by a length over the mare, Dance Music. Back on the inside, too close, the sun. Gee, getting a great run up there, Comfort Me. Fourth being stalked by the raging favourite, Western Empire. He's got the mare Kiss on all 4 cheeks, tucked up on his inside with a length away, Valor Road. Over on the outside of Dig Deep, back on the fence, Notorious One. A little over a length behind those, then Captain Chaos is back there with Son of Bacchus ridden along, so's KC Platoon. They're all off the bridle back there in the field. Naughty by Nature, tell them we're coming. Stone Motherless last is the Velvet King. Up to the turn they come, Massimo straightened for home. Only a half a length over Little Dance Music, about to lay down the gauntlet. Here comes the ominous shadow of Western Empire letting loose on the outside of Comfort Me. Pike's hardly flinched, 150 left to go, and the hot pot storms up, grab the lead. This is all over, it's all over bar the shouting. The Empire reigns supreme. Western Empire won it by 4. Second home, Comfort Me, Kiss on all 4 cheeks. Third ahead of Notorious One, too close the sun. Valor Road Platoon, tell them we're coming, made ground, Dig Deep, followed by Son of Bacchus. Captain Chaos, Dance Music. She cracked under the pressure, so did Massimo. Followed further back behind them, Naughty by Nature, KC, and the Velvet King had trailed them right from the outset. Well, he'll go down in history. Into the record books goes Western Empire as the shortest priced favourite to ever win a Railway Stakes.
The shortest priced favourite in Railway Stakes history. Can you believe it? What a horse he is. Darren McCauley's joining us live from Perth.
Certainly lived up to all the expectations that were held of him. And what a record he's now building. He hasn't been beaten since taking up the Piper Stakes. As a 3-year-old, he won the Piper, the Roberts, the Melvista, the Derby. He's back first up with an Asian Bow Blitzkrieg and then a walk in the park in the Railway Stakes. Greg, I think that he is the next budding weight for age star, probably to come out of this state and head to the east.
But first things first, he is...
Regal Power, a Railway Stakes winner himself, of course, a star when he went to Victoria. He bypassed the railway yesterday there. Bob Peters didn't want to get him under handicap conditions and keep him to 1.
And his 6th attempt to win the Winterbottom Stakes. But I thought the cards fell perfectly for trainer Dan Morton at the barrier draw on Tuesday. Couldn't believe his luck. Gate 1 with Will Chino, who's just an out-and-out...
For the 2021 Winterbottom Stakes, and it is my great get back-to-back Winterbottoms.
And this is a horse that's won the Crawford first up, the Prince of Wales second up, the Colonel Reeves third up, so he is undefeated this preparation coming into it, 4th up from a spell.
Stageman is the 9, has been building nicely. Adam Durant and Clint Johnson Porter, but they got no luck last start.
But that's exactly what they're going to need, some ounce of luck. If you go to the 29 ounce of luck, if you go to the 2019 Winterbottom Stakes, Stageman held up the entire length of the home straight. 2020 Winterbottom Stakes held up the entire length of the home straight. You look at the most recent run, the Colonel Reeves.
Mike's ride for Grant and Alana Williams, but he has to do it from an outside draw.
And he hasn't had a whole lot of luck today, Willie Pike. He's been held up on a couple, Secret Plan. He's been a long way off.
Morton, Chris Parnham.
She was exceptionally good last start. She carried 60 kilos and she almost ran to the track record time. She ran 1:08.58 as a raw time that day. We go back 3 years race. She'll be in front for a long, long way. This money is huge. 440 into 290 now.
She's had some really
hard.
Gates are back now, racing in the Winterbottom. Will Chino beget only fairly from the inside. The first to actually get going is Money Matters, and also Red Can Man, and also driving across is Indian Pacific. Will Chino rushing through near the inside. She's going to eventually work her way through and take control early from IC Red back travelling fifth. Caracapo joining it. They're followed by River Bow, who's wide outside Long Beach Flirtini, followed by Laver Rod back there in the field as well. So's Rock Magic. Elite Street's out 3 and 4 deep, followed by Cup Night near the inside. Outrageous. He's back there in the field as they went past the 550. Stage Man right off the course and last. Graceful Girl. 450 left to go. It's the mare Will Chino. She'll be the first for home. She led a half a length on Money Matters, and over on the outside Indian Pacific. Caracapo gets up on the rail. Red Can Man has to wait his turn. He's desperately looking for run, and now Rawilla hits the trigger, and the favourite starts to erupt, and coming with it is Graceful Girl. Elite Street, the leader, Graceful Girl, finishing brilliantly though from last. Pike says go girl. Graceful Girl from the tail of the field races away, and she wins the Winterbottom brilliantly. Stage Man on the outside diving at Laver on Elite Street in a very close go for second and third. Outrageous. Red Can Man were behind those with Flirtini and also Indian Pacific. They were followed by IC Red, Rock Magic wider out on the course, and he's farewell from racing. Then Cup Night back there, and Will Chino pulling up quickly after straightening in front on the turn, and she's back there last home. Graceful Girl, Pike again, took luck out of the equation, parked her back at the tail of the field, and she just launched with a breathtaking turn of foot performance as Pikey poked his out on the line on Graceful Girl, who's cantered in. Second will go Graceful Girl, who's cantered in. Second will go the Stage Man. So it's a Cerise and White Quinella. He has come from last around the outside and destroyed them. He's with the managing part owner of Peters Investments, Bob Peters, after that breathtaking win of Graceful Girl.
Its way, and of course, not only have they won the Winterbottom with Graceful Girl, but also produced the Quinella with Stage Man, who finally got a little bit of luck go his way. And by the way,
on the home turn.
A few hard luck tails if you look for congestion back inside of them. There's Pike with the black cap. He was out there 5 deep in running from his barrier 16, but he followed Stage Man, the other horse in the Cerise and White, a horse good enough to get him to the corner now. Elite Street there hitting the front. We were waiting for him to burst clear, but it was Graceful Girl, had wings on every plate, and she absolutely destroyed them there in a most emphatic victory. And of course news came Street unfortunately, and of course news came through after the race that Elite Street unfortunately had bled through both nostrils, and therefore will of course suffer the disabilities of a 3-month ban. So that would have contributed to the favourite Elite Street's performance there. Some of
Investments, another Group 1 for Grant and Alana Williams. There's no stopping this team, nor William.
Grant and Alana, they are the best grandfather.
Oh, well, it's never been done before. It's never been done before. We've had, 2 wins, but never get 3.
Set to be made. Will it be the case? $1.28 that it will be. Western Empire, a very, very short price favourite here in the Kingston town, Scott, and you only need to watch a railway to see why.
He goes up 6 kilos to weight for age today, and yet he went around $1.60 in the railway, $1.28 in today's Kingston Town Classic. It is incredibly short, but he is incredibly good.
He is indeed. Let's have a look.
Well, it is now official, Brittany. There is only one horse in this field that is in single figures. Regal Power on the second line has now hit double figures. He's just reached $11. He's a previous weight for age winner. He's a month between runs. I saw a quote in the West Australian this morning, Britt, that's...
Here he is the favourite, Western Empire, the horse that could create history here today for Bob and Sandra Peters, Grant and Alana Williams and William Pike.
$1.26, the current fixed odds quote. Now, what that means in terms of a market percentage is that he holds 79%. So punters seem to think that if he ran this race 10 times, he'd win it 8 out of the 10. And I'm sure there's people out there that are thinking that he'd win it more often than that. If you put $100 on, you're...
There you go. They're racing here in the Kingston town. Nerf Boss Dance Music, first of them to leave. Now he's going to go back here with Regal Power. Pike has quickly snookered his way up just behind them. He's trying to go up 3 wide with the Western Empire through the first 250. They're not going too quickly. And over on the outside, Too Close the Sun goes up, and he'll take over the role of pace mate. She'd fight up onto the bridle early. Then the 3-year-old Search and Rocks, who's next, settled beautifully for Yule. Over on the inside is Nerve Boss, being closely followed by Western Empire, who's out there 3 deep at this stage of the race. And the speeds come right off. Notorious One is pulling Johnston. Is Too Close the Sun, a length and a half clear of Trap for Fools Dance Music. 3/4 of a length away then Western Empire. Well, he's out of trouble if nothing else at the moment, but he has covered ground, this long odds-on favourite. Then on the rails is Nerf Boss, just starting to boot up on the inside of Search and Rocks. Notorious One follows the hot pot. Kiss on All Four Cheeks. It's back there third from last outside of Platoon, and Regal Power at the tail of the field. Well, they come to the 400 now. Too Close the Sun. It'll straighten up in front. Pike hasn't really moved yet. Here he comes on Western Empire. He's out after them. Dance Music's in the middle. Over on the outside, Western Empire goes out after the mare Dance Music. Regal Power getting home at the rate of knots back in the field. Western Empire's the leader. Regal Power charging at it. Western Empire. Regal Power's going to knock him off though. It's another one for the Cerise and White in the Kingston town. Regal Power has upset Western Empire, and he's won a Group 1 again from Kiss on All Four Cheeks. Behind them then Too Close the Sun, Dance Music, Nerf Boss, Platoon, Search and Rocks, Notorious One, and the last of them to greet the judge is Trap for Fools. Well, it goes the way of Regal Power. Patrick Carberry, who'll no doubt be absolutely sure. It's another one for Peters Investments, Grant and Alana Williams, but it's not the one they or anyone expected. Regal Power has come
clean sweep the entire Masters Series as we now know it.
No, I've always said this is the best race in Western Australia. I thought the Railway Stakes is the hardest race to win, but this race is the best race. They weight for age, the horses have equal weight, and the best horse wins.
Today the best horse was Regal Power. It might sound...
2 runs in have been very good. He's a proven weight for age winner. He likes the distance, and everything was in his favour.
Can we
Right, of course, it was history at Ascot, as we were all forecasting it would be, but it wasn't this very, very heavily backed short price commodity in Western Empire. It was Regal Power who was the one that was able to cut it down. Pike, though, had found himself out 3-4 deep trying to get in right from the outset, but he just didn't get the rub of the green, and Pat Carberry sat back there as quiet as a little church mouse and pounced late here on a horse who'd already won a Railway Stakes and an All-Star Mile and a Derby. So it was a Derby winner beating a Derby winner yesterday in the Kingston town. Kiss on All Four Cheeks, brave as always there in the turquoise and white. She'd been placed in a Railway and also has finished third. She protested unsuccessfully against Pike. Thereon,
you know, you can blame Pike sitting 3 deep, no cover, but I just think he was a victim of circumstances there. He did have a go and he got suspended for it, but he did get him in a nice rhythm after that, even though having to cover ground.